Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well, hey there. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. It is brought to you by Sask Today. I'm Tegan Whitco, joined by your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, Curtis Gammon on the controls, keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, as well as on our stream, sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, our X account as well. You can join in the conversation on YouTube or, of course, text us anytime at 306-936-6262. And throughout the day today, we're going to tell you all about the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50. There is also a chance for you to pick the score with SaskTel. Maybe score yourself a $200 gift card and tickets to the next Rider home game. But we do have lots of guests lined up for this afternoon. All of them will be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. And maybe you're going to be pumping some water out of your backyard after all that rain this weekend, so you might as well order yourself some za. Don't bother cooking. It's fine. We're not judging. In fact, we encourage it. Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Today, we're going to be talking a little World Cup action, a historic win for Canada yesterday. Arash Madani is going to be joining us on the line here in just a little bit. Canada is heading to the FIFA World Cup round of 16 for the first time in the program's history after grinding out that dramatic 1-0 finish over South Africa. And their captain, obviously playing hero in that game, scoring deep into stoppage time after Canada controlled much of the match but couldn't find that breakthrough. Head coach Jesse Marsh praised his team's resilience and called these players Canadian heroes. Alphonso Davies also making his tournament debut off the bench after recovering from injury, giving Canada the major boost that it needed. So now Canada sits and waits, and we'll be watching a game tonight, to say the least. 7 o'clock tonight, Netherlands versus Morocco. That is who they're going to be playing in the next round. So we will be watching that one closely tonight as well. So after a little World Cup of soccer action here, we're also going to talk some Riders. Because, yeah, there was a couple of CFL games over the weekend that we need to dive into. The Riders Coaches Show today features Kent Maugeri, special teams coordinator with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We're going to talk about that 40-34 loss to the Argos at Mosaic Stadium over the weekend. And they're going to be heading into a battle against the Red Blacks this upcoming Friday. So how are they preparing for that? What does the injury report look like? We'll get to that in just a sec here. Clutch Performer still to come. Crofty before 5 o'clock. Darian Durant will help us break down all the action in week 4 of the CFL season as well. And then your Regina Red Sox report. There have been a heavy amount of postponed games this season. And if you've looked at the WCBL schedule, you know that it is a very busy, very condensed schedule because a lot of these players are coming from colleges and they only have a very limited window of time to get these games in, and Mother Nature has not been cooperating. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we're also going to talk about, just what the game day experience feels like now that we're a couple weeks into this new management with Queen City Sports and Entertainment. So Gord Pritchard of the Regina Red Sox and Queen City Sports and Entertainment will be joining us before 6 o'clock. As I mentioned, today is brought to you by Sask Today, Voices of Saskatchewan. You can visit Sask Today, the leading provincial online news and ag and sports portal. That's where you're going to find all of this. So, Dave Thomas, I'm going to bring you in here really quickly before we get to some of the conversations that you had with players down on field level at Mosaic Stadium today. Major takeaways following that loss to Toronto when you got to the stadium.
Today? When I got to today. I'm like, which day when I went to the stadium? That's like a loaded
should be a little
question.
More specific. You kind of live there now.
You know when
Do you
I
have
went
a cot in the media room?
No. They do not want me there.
Not yet.
Yeah. No, the takeaways from Friday's game were that there was some key mistakes made at times, right? So a late fumble recovery by the Argonauts deep in Rough Rider territory gave them an extra possession, which turned out to be the winning score. You look at the slow start a little bit by the Riders offense. They seem to, try to find their traction. I think they really missed AJ Ouellette early on. Thomas Bertrand-Houdon, I didn't think we gave enough credit for coming in off the bench and really starting and firing that Rough Riders offense when he had 6 carries, 22 yards. So again, when you're averaging almost 4 yards a carry, that's not bad. saying that, Quali Conley, I thought, came in and played very well in the second half, as did the entire offense. So the Riders just made enough mistakes. Another return touchdown given up, which is a tough one. And I know the one that I've been absolutely lambasted with over the last, 48 hours or so was the punt return with Sam Emelis and whether or not he should have been out there. And I think that there's only one person that should make that determination, and Coach Mays. Mm-hmm. But having said that, are we having the same conversation if Sam Emelis fielded a punt to return it to the house for the end zone, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, what a great move. Brilliant move, right? So you can't predict injuries, and you put your best players in the best spots to succeed, and it's unfortunate that Sam was obviously wrapped up a little bit and had, I think it was rolled over more than wrapped up. But end of the day, when I walked into the stadium today, I thought the sky is not falling. The sunshine is out. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are still a very good team. The team is still starting to get healthy on defense. The offense, the receiver room is going to be tested to find out what the depth looks like and to see where those injuries are at. But all in all, it's still the Saskatchewan Roughriders who won the Grey Cup last year and have a very, very good team.
Well, and you talk about that Samuel Emelis injury, him going down, getting nicked up. Now, the reason why he was fielding those punt returns is because James Letcher Jr. also went down earlier in the game in that first half. So we did see him on the sideline. He had taped ice to the inner corner of his right elbow, if I'm not mistaken, and then he came out in the second half in a sling. So we knew he wasn't going to be returning in that game. So then you fast forward, you have Samuel Emelis now making those returns. And then after that, Samuel Emelis goes down, as you alluded to, and then we see the Saskatchewan player in Daniel Wiebe get the opportunity to show what he's got. We saw him have a massive moment up in Saskatoon at Griffith Stadium during the preseason against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with the game-winning touchdown, dying seconds of that fourth quarter. Unfortunately, the end result on the scoreboard is not what Daniel Wiebe was looking for. However, he was still able to take it to the house. And I saw him hanging on to that game ball so tightly after he got that touchdown. So, of course, post-game, I needed to make sure that I grabbed Daniel Wiebe to have that conversation in his first game at Mosaic Stadium, donning the Saskatchewan Roughrider green and white. Here with number 87, Daniel Wiebe, you made your first career CFL start tonight with your hometown team being the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You're from Rosetown originally, but how did this moment feel different for you, especially scoring your first pro touchdown?
Yeah, it meant a lot. Just want to be able to help the team out as much as I can. Obviously, didn't get the job done, so that stings. But, I felt like it was a good effort. I mean, we played a good team, so end of the day, didn't get the job done, but yeah, it was exciting to get that touchdown for sure.
You've definitely had an opportunity to play in this building before, and it feels a little bit different with, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You got one touchdown, 4 receptions, 65 yards, and a couple of returns on the night here tonight. So what was working well for you, and what did you see in the touchdown pass?
I just kept saying to myself, see ball, catch ball. That's kind of the motto I was going with, just trying to stay present. It can be a lot of pressure. Honestly, I was pretty nervous going into it, but at the end of the day, it's a new experience. I get to grow with that. And yeah, just trying to be present. I think that's the thing that helps me the most, and just let those emotions be there to make the plays anyways.
You said see ball, catch ball. So where are you putting that game ball from your first career touchdown?
Oh, I think I got to give it to my family. Yeah, it was a super exciting moment, especially to do it with the Riders. I mean, that means everything. So it's kind of a dream come true, obviously. Like I said, didn't get the win. We got to get that win.
Well, I know it didn't go your way tonight with the end result here, but thank you very much for the time, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
See ball, get ball.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite quote, my favorite takeaway from that.
I have clearly been watching too many soccer matches lately because magical moments seem to find Daniel Wiebe, whether it was in his youth sports or career or again, right? You don't want to see the guys go down in front of you, and that's what allowed him to get onto the roster in the first place, right? So Del Duncan Busby's shaken up. That means Deshaun Mims start. That means that Daniel Wiebe comes in. And all week long, he was nothing but workmanlike at practice. And even in training camp, Daniel Wiebe would spend ample amount of time after each and every practice session fielding kicks off the jugs machine, right? So you're out there and you're just fielding punts. That's what he was doing over and over again. He knew he wanted to make the team, and he knew he had to do it through special teams. So he gets an opportunity through special teams. As I mentioned on the broadcast, welcome to the league, young man. 12 250-pound men are just about to come storming down on you full speed. Enjoy this. right? And then he just gets into offense and made the play to get into the end zone. You could tell as soon as he kind of got that football, he wasn't going to be denied, even though he took major impact at the goal line. But yeah, it was a magical moment. Unfortunately, it wasn't the end. And he said the right things. Now the outcome needs to change. And I should mention that I was erroneous when I said that he fumbled the ball late in the game. It was not him. It was Jalen Johnson. So sorry, Jalen. I probably shouldn't have brought that up either. But my mistake. I'm just going to own my mistake. Far end of the field, right at the fourth quarter there, and allowed Toronto a bit of an opportunity. But yeah, Daniel Weed was right there, but Jalen Johnson took the heck of a wallop there, and ball pops loose. And Jalen was one of many receivers that didn't practice today, nursing a shoulder injury.
Since you brought up injuries, why don't we throw over to this, okay? A little bit of an injury update and how they are preparing for Ottawa this Friday. Here's head coach Corey Mace.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much weight into today's rotation. I think for the most part, we got, pretty good news on an injury standpoint. So we'll see how the week progresses. But, yeah, it's good to, no matter who, we have to put out there, it's good for everybody to get reps. Nobody's super long-term, no season endings, which is awesome.
Head coach Corey Mace giving us a little bit of an update as to what we are seeing on the practice field at Mosaic Stadium heading into this Friday's contest. So why don't we dive in a little bit deeper here as to who was not practicing on the field, Dave? Let me just grab this injury report here and game day status. Okay, so Del Duncan-Busby, shoulder, still not practicing. Jaden Dalkey, still not practicing. That's a hand. Dylan Jeté, pardon me, quadriceps. So I'm seeing him on this report as well. Sam Emelis, Jalen Johnson, James Letcher Jr., Nelson the Combo, Marion Benoit, AJ Ouellette, Kian Schaefer-Baker, and Ryder Varga.
So just some initial reactions. Of course, Del Duncan-Busby was banged up in Calgary in the victory there. The one that I find is interesting, Dylan Jeté, who, of course, was a Saskatchewan Roughrider draft pick this spring. He came to camp. He was injured, wasn't able to go, and they put him on the 6-game injured list to start. So what it means is that once you get to game number 4, you can start ramping up your activity. So that's what this is, from what I'm told at this moment. Isn't a fact that they're going to bring him off the injured list early. It's just a fact that allows him to ramp up and start doing some team activities. It was by no means full team activities. So we'll have to wait and see. Sam Emelis was out. He was wearing cleats. He had the number 19 jersey on. He was out for most of the practice and most of the workout. He was a spectator largely with everything that was going on. Then he went in underneath. And yes, I'm giving you play-by-play of what the Riders were doing on the sidelines.
That's kind of your job, Dave.
Kian Schaefer-Baker was out. Again, he was same as Sam, wearing the 89 jersey, didn't have a helmet, and was just kind of, observing, watching what was going on. If you want to break into the running back room, AJ Ouellette was much more involved in everything that was going on today. So they may have held him out a little bit on some of the team stuff. But again, this is a full practice week for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Don't forget, last week was a short one. This one's a long one in comparison. And the one thing that we should also mention is that the Ottawa Red Blacks, they played last night, right? So they're going to be at a short week.
Not traveling, though.
Well, they had to travel back from Montreal.
That's not that far.
Montreal to Ottawa,
no excuses.
You're right. Are they building a train? No, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. But so there is some good news there. Nelson Lacombo, I thought, looked very, very good. At one point, he was participating with the first team. Then he kind of backed off and limited himself, which I think was smart, right? Just kind of see how that ankle responds as he's been out a little bit. So that could make for some interesting decisions when it comes to the secondary and how that is going to possibly look. We had some receivers gain more reps, like Matthew Sexton, for example. He was returning a lot of kicks, as a matter of fact, up at training camp. He was fielding kick after kick after kick today, as well as taking offensive reps at the receiver spot. So there's going to be likely some changes this week in Ottawa. We'll just have to wait and see. And as you heard Coach Mace say, doesn't sound like anything is season ending, which is good.
Yeah, that's a step in the right direction. I mean, you never like to see injuries happen this early in the season, but that's football. It's that's the nature of the sport.
True.
Guys get banged up, right? A couple of comments that came in during the postgame show as well, following that loss to the Toronto Argonauts in that Prairie Blizzard game at Mosaic Stadium. Lots of kudos for Alex Hale. And I think that's deserved because they were a little bit rough on him, in week 3 there. Hale had a good night. despite the fact that the wind was swirling a little bit inside Mosaic Stadium, particularly near that south end zone. But he had a good night. And I think, if people are going to bag on him when he has a tough outing, I think we also need to give credit where credit is due.
I would concur with that. And
he had a nice squib in there, too.
The onside kick was really close, actually. Mm-hmm. Riders had a shot at it, and that's all you're asking for from your kicker. Give us a shot.
That's exactly it. I feel like the crowd was really good this weekend. Lots of people talking about, maybe they didn't see as many fans in the stands as they were expecting, but that's the nature of a weeknight game in Saskatchewan. It just is what it is. A good loss. Ben from Winnipeg actually called in on the call-in show post-game, and he was saying that, sometimes you need a little bit of a wake-up call and maybe to be humbled a little bit and to be able to take the loss and learn from it. Now, I'm curious to get Darian Durant's take on that later today and see if he agrees with Ben in Winnipeg when he called in. Because you never know. It might just be the oomph that they need. Or it might not be. Lots of people also happy with the performances from Conley and Weeb, as we kind of already alluded to earlier.
Yeah, and I think Mike Rose should get some props. 2-sack night for him. Josh Woods gets his first interception as a Saskatchewan Roughrider. And
that was early in the game.
Yeah, that was huge right after that 60-some yard run right off the hop, right by Sam Hicks. So he first play from scrimmage, he goes 68, goes deep into Rider territory, and then looks like Toronto's going to punch it in real quick, and then all of a sudden Josh Woods gets that interception. So lots of highlights, lots of positives, but again, when the chips were down, the Riders just couldn't make that one last play that they needed to at a big moment.
And credit where credit is due. Chad Kelly played a good game. He's been off to a pretty good start this season.
You have to give him full marks. And the thing is that one thing about Chad Kelly that I overheard one of the executives talking about during the game was, or just prior to the game, pardon me, was that the unwavering confidence that he has. And I said, so like is that big time attitude? No. It's unwavering confidence in his ability to execute what he's being asked to execute. So sometimes he's putting balls into spots where he shouldn't, but a lot of times he's making the right reads. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned it during the broadcast, right? The 2 400-yard games to start a season, or back-to-back 400-yard games, hadn't been done since Damon Allen.
2005.
Yeah, and he only had 300 and some in the victory this time around. But again, he's making a lot of wise decisions, and he's showing why he was the MOP in this league.
Especially after taking off, essentially 18 months from gameplay.
Yep.
Granted, he had a full, healthy offseason, but still, it's one thing to practice. It's one thing to be in the clubhouse. It's another thing to actually be in game action, and he's only had a couple of those games under his belt since his return.
Let's think about it, right? In the last 2 years, the last 2 football seasons, he's played half a season.
Yeah. Oh, geez. When you put it that way.
Right. He hasn't had a lot of ball, but you got to give him credit.
Yeah, he showed up and he performed. Mm-hmm. So, how do you think the Riders are going to do this weekend? If you want a chance to play pick the score, you have chances to win not only a $200 SaskTel gift card, but also tickets to the next Rider home game. And all we're asking for you to do is give us your prediction. What do you think the final result will be between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Ottawa Redblacks? It's a road game for the Green and White this Friday. We will have your pregame show coverage starting at 2:30 that afternoon, by the way. Text us right now with your score prediction, and you might have a chance to win, okay? 306-936-6262 is the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Again, 306-936-6262. Make sure you include your name and your score prediction. Okay, we should talk a little NHL draft before we have to take a break here, Dave.
I'm ready.
Because there was a lot of information to absorb after we got off the air following that game, the Rider game on Friday. I was trying to keep tabs to the best of my ability, but you can only focus on so many things at once. Justin Bieber coming out to make the first overall draft pick on behalf of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. I got a push notification on my phone mentioning that, and at first I kind of saw red. But then as I did a little more research into that this weekend, I realized it's because NHL did an interview with Gavin McKenna and said, if you could have anyone at your draft, any celebrity, who would it be? And he said Justin Bieber. So then they played his song Yukon, because he's from Yukon.
You know what? It was really
I agree.
cool.
It's a heavy sigh.
It was really cool that they brought Justin Bieber out to.
Is it?
No, I think it is.
I think only because McKenna wanted it. If McKenna didn't want it.
Yeah, but give him a script. Let him read with the first overall selection. The Toronto Maple Leafs select Gavin McKenna instead of Mr. McKenna. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Why the Leafs Are. Never mind. But I don't know.
Yourself there.
No. The Hollywood. The NHL is definitely trying to make it Hollywood, right? They're trying to get ratings. That's what it's all about.
That's what sells.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Toronto Blue Jays had Gavin McKenna out for the first pitch at the Jays game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which, again, it makes sense. It definitely does make sense. And good thing he's playing hockey. That's all I'm going to say. His first pitch was not great.
Kind of airmailed it a bit. George Springer was able to bring it down, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
George doesn't play in the field anymore, but, he's still got hops.
Yeah.
You know what? I credit the NHL trying to do something. I'll never, ever condemn anybody for trying to do something. I just thought that the execution was a little bit lackluster.
Clunky.
And if I was Gavin McKenna, that's your moment, right? That's the one moment. You don't get a second chance for the moment.
And Austin Matthews didn't even show up. He just pre-recorded an interview. It's a good way to welcome Buddy to the team.
Well, and it was awkward because it was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Leafs fans are going to be coming at us now. Caleb Malhotra, I wanted to ask you about this because he was selected by the Vancouver Canucks, a decision that maybe some are raising eyebrows at, considering his dad will now be the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. And a lot of people were thinking, maybe a little conflict of interest there. Granted, we all know players last longer than coaches in this league. But what are your thoughts on that? Being a hockey dad and a coach and a Canucks fan, I was really curious to get your take on this.
Goodness.
I know. There's a lot of layers.
I need a coach for this. So as a dad, I'm pumped. I think that's awesome that you get to spend time with your kids. Anytime you get to do that, 100%. As a fan of Caleb Malhotra, I'm worried because there's automatically a bullseye on your chest. Right? You make the roster, good for you. You don't make the roster, why wouldn't your dad put you on this team, right? There comes with expectations, and that's really, 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 really tough. I think it's probably very tough for the young man to, you don't want to say no to your father or the organization. As far as the organization goes, yes, he was probably the best player still available that probably fit their needs, but maybe you look at it in retrospect and maybe there was a deal you could have made or something for that pick. Just saying. But again, it's a tough spot.
So reading between the lines, you don't like it.
No, tough spot, tight spot for everybody. I don't mind the pick. I think it's a good pick, a good player. It's really, really going to be tough for him because Brandon Sutter, remember, was it Brandon that was in Calgary with his dad, Brent? Or Daryl? Daryl?
It was Daryl, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I got to remember the Sutter. You need a roadmap to track that family tree, man.
I know.
But just the Sutter that was in Calgary, right? And it was tough with dad behind the bench. And so, again, correct me on the Sutters, please, at 306-936-6262. But I don't know. I give them.
It was Daryl.
Daryl coaching Brandon?
At first glance, yeah.
Fair.
You know what? The one thing I will say about Caleb, yes, he's got his work cut out for him. Yes, this could get a little bit awkward for him and his teammates. However, first of all, your uncle is Steve Nash?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's really cool.
Not my uncle. Well, Caleb Malhotra's.
Yeah, Caleb's uncle. Because I saw him there when he was drafted, and that was a pretty cool moment. But I also came across, because I was like, okay, what is this kid all about? Because I know more about his dad than I know about him. So I was doing some research, and I saw actually right before the draft, the OHL had a bunch of these players, these draft-eligible players that were out on the ice skating with a bunch of kids, Timbit's age-ish.
Yeah.
And the way that he was interacting with these kids, it just made me think, now that is a good guy. I like that kid.
The good guy factor.
The good guy factor. So I like it. Get that bag, and hopefully don't get in fights with your dad. So there's the Vancouver Canucks. That's all I'm going to talk about there.
Don't get in fights with your dad.
I mean, you never know. Things could get awkward. We should talk about the Sharks, though, while we still have time, because they had a pretty good draft overall.
The Sharks? Mm-hmm. Oh, Mike Greer is doing a terrific job down there, isn't he?
Yeah, they got a pretty major haul because they ended up trading some of those picks. So they got Stenberg, and then they also got Verhoff, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. Then they also got Ryan Lynn. This might be, and then they also got a 7'1", 272-pound defender.
7 foot.
7'1", Alexander Karamanov. Karamanov? I'm hoping I'm not butchering that name.
I'm not even going to try.
The tallest draft pick in history.
I want to see how this guy moves. Like, if he's the next Zdeno Chara, but bigger, that would be amazing.
And that's kind of exactly what you need if you're the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be an impact player down the road.
What was his weight again? Sorry.
272.
272.
Yeah.
That's like 272. That's
a big boy.
That's an undersized offensive lineman or a great defensive end.
And it's 7'1", so on skates, 7'4", 7'3"?
7'3.5", yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's terrifying. That is terrifying.
I'm with you.
Not for his teammates, thankfully. But on the flip side, the Blackhawks didn't really do a whole lot. And I think there are some Chicago fans that are a little disappointed.
I think there's a lot of Edmonton fans that are feeling the same way.
Yeah, that's also a very valid point. Okay, I know we're running out of time here. Only other quick things I'm going to mention that stuck out to me in the 2026 draft, the Ruck brothers being able to go to the same team together. Mm-hmm. They have never spent more than 4 days apart. Kind of nice that they were able to cut a deal and get them to both go to the Penguins.
You knew it was going to happen.
It's inevitable. It happened in the WHL. Of course it's going to happen in the NHL, right?
Yeah. You know what? I really thought the Canucks were going to try to do it. So, again, look at their presidents, Henrik and Daniel.
Well, that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
And they played pretty well together. Rudolph going 4th overall to the Sabres was a bit of a shocker, in my opinion. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought he'd go a little bit lower.
Oh, okay. A good defense.
Or a little bit higher, pardon me. A little bit higher in the draft. Okay, another Iginla off to pro hockey, drafted by the Flames, is Joe Iginla. So he was drafted in the 3rd round by the Flames. Now, of course, following in the footsteps of his father, who we kind of all know. He might recognize it. Jerome,
heard
is his first name? Yeah, might have heard about him. Jade Iginla just drafted to the PWHL 19th overall, and then Tej, of course, was the 6th overall pick in 2024. And NHL news not going to be slowing down anytime soon as we have free agent frenzy on Canada Day this Wednesday. Mm-hmm. It'll be a fun day.
It will be a day.
Although there's been quite a few things happening already, so who even knows if there's all that much more to come. We'll find out. All of that being said, you can join in the conversation anytime. What'd you think about the game? Did you pick the score? Got a chance to win tickets and a $200 SaskTel gift card if you text us. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, small power tools to skid steers. They probably have what you need. You can deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street, 306-936-6262. Coming up next, we got Arash Madani. Going to talk a little World Cup after a historic day for Canada yesterday, so hang tight for that. It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Welcome back to the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. Tegan Whitco, Dave Thomas with you, Curtis on the controls as well. And then you just heard the big voice guy. Is this all we needed to do was make Barney take vacation and we get more Arash?
Hey, whatever it takes, Tegan, whatever it takes. Well,
Well,
you said Barney's away, then everybody can play. I hear what you're saying.
Oh, Curtis, clip that. We're going to need to put that into some breakers on his show when he returns.
There you go.
Arash, let's dive into it. World Cup. Oh, my goodness. This is probably one of the biggest moments in Canadian men's soccer history. So, Stephen Eustáquio, huge moments before, but nothing quite compares to the moment that he had yesterday, hey?
I was trying to think about how to properly put this into context. Not just the goal, but just the win, the moment, and what it means and where it kind of ranks. Somebody asked me, did you see this coming? And I think if you followed this program, not just for years, not just for decades, but for generations, guys, like none of this ever seemed possible. This is the 3rd time Canada's been in a men's World Cup. The first time, Mexico 86, we didn't score a goal. Qatar 2022, we didn't get a result, not even a point. We lost all 3 matches. And now here they are, this national team, this program, punching its ticket into the round of 16 at the World Cup, in a tournament in North America where they played the first 3 matches on home soil. It kind of like, it's beyond belief. It defies not just expectation, it defies anything we've ever known about men's soccer in this country.
The question I have is what has gone into making this program develop? Because at times Soccer Canada can't seem to get out of their own way, Rash, and this time around things seem to be moving in the right direction. Is that a reflection of Jesse Marsh? Is that the leadership? Is that just the players themselves?
I mean, it's a lot of things, Dave. One, we're the beneficiary of having wonderful immigration. Alphonso Davies was born in a refugee camp in Nigeria, and Canada opened its doors to the Davies family, and he grew up in Edmonton, and the only thing that made him feel Canadian as a young kid was soccer, because everybody welcomed him in. You think about Jonathan David, the striker. Jonathan was born in Haiti and relocated to Ottawa, and here came an opportunity, and on we can go. And the hero yesterday, Stefan Eustáquio, is just such a kind of reflection of this entire story. His parents, his late parents, moved to Leamington, Ontario, wherever that is, a town of 30,000 people outside of Windsor, when Steph's older brother was 2 years old, and they spent 10 years here. And Stefan Eustáquio was born here. And he says, my memories as a kid of Canada were playing soccer and a yellow school bus. And when the opportunity had to come to decide where am I going to play for the senior national team, Eustáquio chose Canada. It was John Hurtman, the former coach, who knew the connection, reached out and said, Steph, I want you to be our center midfielder. I want you to be our air traffic controller. I want you to be the green dot. I want you to be our middle linebacker on defense. I want you to be an extension of me out there on the pitch. This is where I see this program going. We're hosting a World Cup in 2026. And Eustáquio said, I'm all in. And then in the biggest moment that this program has ever had, in extra time, in a knockout stage match, there is Leamington, Ontario, Stefan Eustáquio off the chest, off the leg, patience, and delivering with the biggest goal that we've ever seen a male have in our country's soccer history.
You brought up emotion, and I think that's really important to remember here. You brought up Eustáquio's late parents, and that definitely will be part of he'll be remembering that moment for the rest of his life, as will many Canadian soccer fans. But when emotion comes into it, I watched his post-game conversations, and he was so incredibly overwhelmed with emotion. But then you also look at the leadership and Jesse Marsh, and there have been times where he's been a little animated. So do you think emotion is really helping drive this team's identity?
I absolutely do. And I really wondered, leaving Vancouver, where there was such a sea of red, this team feeds off of that. How would they respond in LA when you just really didn't know, with only 3 days rest, how many people are going to show up to Southern California and do that? And this team found a way, and that emotion, like Eustáquio is as unflappable an athlete that I've ever been around. He's a guy who keeps his emotions in check. He's revered in that locker room because that heartbeat just remains very, very calm. And it was interesting. He posted a picture on his Instagram in the locker room after, where you could tell the magnitude of the moment finally got to him. Here's a dude who's been stoic, who's been calm, etc. And then you think about that journey. Like Armando and Esmeralda Eustáquio, his late parents, have been such a big part of this journey, guys. Armando used to captain a ferry ship between England and France. He was away for 6 months of the year. Mom, who knows nothing about soccer, took the two brothers to practice, took the two brothers to games. Admittedly, had no idea what was happening, but that's what they like to do, so that's what they did. And when Canada qualified for Qatar 2022, Steph couldn't wait for the entire family to go. He wanted everybody to be there. His older brother Mauro was a soccer coach too. And then Mom just wasn't feeling well. She wasn't acting like herself. And then there were some tremors, and then she would forget things. And there turned out to be a brain cancer diagnosis, and the family couldn't go to Qatar. Mom dies in the spring of 2023. Dad suddenly passes away of a heart attack a year later. And so with all of this, and the emotion, and the World Cup, and the pressure, and the dude who's worn the armband longer than anybody else for Canada over the last couple of years as captain, he gets his chance, he gets his opportunity. That wasn't just a win for Canada yesterday. There's the picture. Well done, Curtis. That's not just a win for Canada. That's a win for the family. And that's why it was so overwhelming for number 7.
Well, that's hard to top, but obviously I'm going to try.
Are they going to win the next game? Is that what you're asking?
Hey, you know what? Let's face it, I'm not the brightest bulb in the drawer right now, but if you watch and go back on the stream at sportscage.com, I could have sworn that you were in the ceiling fan aisle at Home Depot, but actually those are wine bottles above your head. So
It's way better.
Totally distracting. Totally distracting. But in all honesty, number one, I saw what you put on social media. I thought that was pretty cool with your family attending the game in Vancouver. Like, such a fantastic moment that I could never imagine being at and what it must have meant to your family. But speaking of what it means, Canada is in the round of 16. Are they playing with house money? Is this a great thing that they're playing in Houston on Saturday? Because, hey, it's all gravy from here?
Yeah, and if they're going to get the Netherlands or Morocco, we're going to find out tonight. It's 7 o'clock Regina time. That match is going to get underway. It's Powerhouse 1 or Powerhouse 2 that this team is running into. It was interesting. I was listening to Alistair Johnston, one of the Canadian players. He just said afterwards, he said, this is about survive and advance. And he said, we're still dancing. And it's so wild how sports works. Like, sometimes you just get on this magic carpet ride where nothing really makes sense and nothing is supposed to happen this way, and you just ride it. You ride the wave, and you look around, you're saying to yourself, okay, Netherlands, are they better? Yeah. Morocco, are they better? Yeah. But Alphonso Davies is now healthy, and he entered the game in the 75th minute. Moise Bombito, who shouldn't even be on the roster, started, and Promise David scored an incredible goal against Switzerland, and he's overcome a miracle injury to be on this roster. And anytime Kyle Laren's on the pitch, he just scores. Hey, so you're saying there's a chance. What happened to all that 1 in a million talk? It's you got to go play. And Jesse Marsh, Tegan, I think you mentioned him earlier. He's in Monterey tonight. He's looking for any little detail that the film won't show. How will some dudes respond when things don't go well? How are they going to handle certain situations when they present themselves? He's looking for any edge, any detail that on Saturday, after a nice 6-day break, when Canada's in a certain situation, what will they do? How will they go about it? How will they approach it? That's kind of where they are the day after yesterday's win.
So who do you think Canadian soccer fans should be cheering for tonight? I know you said that there was, Powerhouse A, Powerhouse B, Netherlands or Morocco. Who do you think the Canadians have a better shot against?
The honest answer is I don't know. I think you're cheering for extra time. You want these teams to get as worn down as possible, et cetera, et cetera. At this point, though, it's about, okay, how do you recover? How do you make sure coming out of his first match, significant match in forever, Alfonso's going to come out okay? How many minutes can he give you? Is Bombito fine? Like his leg got snapped like a popsicle stick less than a year ago. So it's more about how is this team going to come out? And really, they need to be better than they were yesterday. Like, yes, it's an incredible achievement. We're talking about the story, etc. Canada didn't play particularly well yesterday. And they need to be all systems go on Saturday to give themselves a chance. And so we're about to find out if they're going to be able to do that over the next few days.
It's funny you mentioned that about the Canadians and the way that they played against South Africa. Would it be wrong to suggest that South Africa was like the New Jersey Devils, if you will, of the NHL, and the fact that, hey, you keep coming at us, we're going to take it, and we're going to hope that we can find a break. If not, we'll see you in penalty kicks.
Yeah. It's that old basketball team that played zone defense, 40 minutes of hell on defense, take the air out of the basketball. That's exactly, though, Dave, what South Africa wanted. They wanted nothing more than for this thing to get to penalties. 0-0 was their MO. And then one, Schaffelberg deflection, Estacchio changes everything. So, look, you think about it, you're saying, okay, up front, they need more firepower. You have to think that Jesse Marsh is considering Kyle Larry and Promise David up front, maybe Jonathan David comes off the bench. That's got to be a consideration. You have to think he's considering, if I use Davies, it's immediately out of the half, not at the 75-minute mark. Like, at this point, it's not about anything else. It's not load management. It's not game management. It is all our chips are in the middle of the table. We are going for it. And let the chips fall where they may.
Who do you think decides how much Alphonso Davies is used?
Oh, man, that's a great question, because he's got a personal kind of trainer here that Bayern Munich pays for, his club team over there in Germany. I still do think it's Jesse Marsh. I still do think it's Team Canada. And I really believe Alphonso Davies wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we've learned is Alphonso isn't calling the shots because he wanted to play against Switzerland. And oftentimes, how often do we say this, guys, in any sport? It's the organization's responsibility to protect the player from themselves. That's kind of what happened there. But at this stage of things, it's not about protecting the asset over there in Germany anymore, is it? Like, you're in the round of 16 of the World Cup. You're about to get the Dutch. You're about to get the Moroccans who made that run in Qatar 4 years ago. Man, we're playing for keeps at this point.
For the young soccer fans and maybe those who weren't really paying that close attention back in Qatar in 2022 and not necessarily grasping or fully understanding the magnitude of this, Arash, I know that you've covered the Olympics, World Cups, championships all around the globe. What is that energy like? How does that stack up to other events that you've covered?
It's really interesting how when you go to an international competition and you're playing for your country, how different the entire thing is. No one's playing for money. No one's playing for bonuses in their contract. Nobody's playing for playing time. We're in this for we and not me, which for professional athletes is just unheard of. And yet the weirdest thing happens when you hear your national anthem before the game. And it's this kind of, especially this Canada team, they talk about it. It sounds a little corny, but it's real. It's this band of brothers. Like, I covered the 2023 Basketball World Cup in Asia. Like, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's on the team. Dylan Brooks is on the team. Like, dudes, two-time NBA MVP. Man, Shea could not care less how many points he scored. That dude just wanted to win. And I'm like, whew. It's pretty damn cool when you see something like that, especially in today's big money environment.
Well, I do have a really big question before we let you go, but can you walk us through what the steps are for Canada? As mentioned, Jesse Marsh is in Guadalajara or Guadalupe? He's in Mexico.
Monterrey.
Yeah, so he's there now, obviously scouting. What's the rest of the team doing, and what do you anticipate the atmosphere to be like in Houston compared to LA?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that part of it, Dave, because before the match, I went to some travel websites. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of flights to Houston from Toronto, from Vancouver, etc. Then I waited about an hour after the match, and everything was sold out from Vancouver to Houston and Toronto to Houston on Friday and Sunday. I don't know how many Moroccan fans are out there. I don't know how many Dutch fans are out there, but this is once in a lifetime, and people are embracing it, appreciating it, and in a lot of ways, this is kind of what like the 2019 Raptors run was like. Like at the beginning of those playoffs, nobody was paying attention, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where at Mosaic Stadium for the finals, they were playing the finals games up on the big screen at the stadium in Regina. Whoever would have thought that would happen for basketball? We're probably one win away from that happening all across the country in so many different places. It's going to be neat. It's going to be. It's a lot of where were you when people talk about this.
Okay, can I ask one more?
Yes, if you make it quick.
Okay, so first of all, if you want to get to Houston, there's a great connector through Minot, I've been told. That could be erroneous, I'm not sure. But the other part is that maybe this is old man yelling at the clouds. I don't think Canada should wear black jerseys. I think they should be red or white. Am I totally out to lunch that this is bugging me and a burr in my saddle?
It's Nike's going to do what Nike wants to do. And they got a red, they got a white, and they got a black, and they're going to sell as many jerseys as they can.
You need more than
you know
two
what,
designs,
though, Dave? I tell you, for somebody who just had to call a football game with white on white, the blacks actually are probably a little bit nicer to...
Coast to coast with Arash Madani. Appreciate the time there, my guy. And we'll have to do this again tomorrow.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Grab one of those bottles of wine behind you. Might need it. It's going to be a long week. All right, Arash Madani, Coast to Coast, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Appreciate his time, as always. Now I want to buy one of those black Canada jerseys just to spite you a little bit. I'd rock it.
Like I said, I don't know why it even bothers me, but it's like our nation's colors are red and white.
You are correct.
Whether it's hockey, again,
there's still black and red.
Like I say, old man yelling
Canada
at the clouds here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Shocker. All right, just a reminder that you should also get in on the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50/50 new early bird prize to be won every single week. This week, you got a shot at a Labor Day game package for two with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. One-night hotel stay here in Regina, 2 customized jerseys. And yes, get the white on white ones if you can. 2 gold tickets to the Labor Day Classic on Sunday, September 6th, and 3 winners will be drawn. The only way you're going to be in that draw is if you get your tickets before Thursday, July the 2nd. That's this Thursday, 10 p.m. Riders5050.ca. We're going to take a quick break. Back with the sports ticker in just a moment. This is 620 CKRM, streaming at sportscage.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Assuming we don't get any inclement weather, a couple of games in the WCBL for Saskatchewan teams. You got the Weyburn Beavers, who are traveling to Fort McMurray to face the Giants. And then the Medicine Hat Mavericks will be here in Regina, Curry Field, to take on the Red Sox at 7 o'clock. Major League Baseball action, Toronto Blue Jays taking on the New York Mets. Savage will be on the mound for the Jays. In the NHL, coming off the draft weekend, we now brace for free agent frenzy. We did see Gallagher traded to Vancouver earlier today after a lengthy stint with the Montreal Canadiens, and the Florida Panthers acquired rights from Anaheim Ducks for Radko Gudas in exchange for the rights to veteran forward AJ Greer. So they were both pending unrestricted free agents, and now teams can negotiate them before that free agency window opens on Wednesday. Other names that we're going to be watching out for were Werenski, Robinson, Hellebuck, and Larkin. World Cup of Soccer. Canada headed to the FIFA World Cup round of 16 for the first time following a 1-0 win to South Africa. And of course, they're either facing the Netherlands or Morocco in the next round. Those two teams play each other at 7 o'clock tonight. Brazil scored in the 95th minute to knock off Japan out of the World Cup. That was a 2-1 final. And then Germany, Paraguay, right now it is taking place in the second half here, and it is all tied up at 1. SportsCage.com poll. Which winless team is most likely to win first? Is it Ottawa or BC? Let us know. You can go vote. SportsCage.com. That's your sports ticker, brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies on 620 CKRM. Well, hello. And welcome back. It's the Monday installment of the Sports Cage for Sask Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. You can visit sasktoday.ca for everything you need. Okay, we're Saskatchewan's leading online news, ag, and sports portal. We got you covered. sasktoday.ca. Still to come this hour, of course, we have your clutch performers. We have your sprinkle of the day. We're going to catch up with our buddy Crofty from Croft Electric. And you can always join in the conversation. You know, maybe you have a question for Darian Durant after 5 o'clock. You can text those into us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals, small power tools, skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner directly at 600 Albert Street. Without further ado, let's get our next guest on the line here, the Western Pizza guest hotline with the Riders Coaches Show.
It's time for the Sports Cage Riders Coaches Show. For Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Locations in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, and servicing all of Saskatchewan.
Kent Maugeri joins us, Riders Special Teams Coordinator. Appreciate you taking the time to do this, Kent.
How's it going, guys?
Can't complain.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course. Another day back on the field, another day of practice. We were talking about that a little bit earlier on. But I'm sure you can anticipate there's been a lot of conversation regarding special teams coming off that loss to Toronto. So I'm just going to address the elephant in the room here, Kent. Following the injury to James Letcher Jr., we saw Sam Emelis, step in on punt returning, and then later Daniel Wiebe. How confident are you in all of your receivers to be able to step into that role?
Well, it's a challenge. It really is, especially the first 3 games have been crazy with the wind. And if you're not used to practicing in it and catching, they catch balls every day after practice on the jugs, and it's a challenge. So, our first and foremost responsibility on punt return is to, get the ball. So we had to have somebody back there who could catch it. And we're fortunate enough to have good athletes that can do something with it when they do. So it's unfortunate about the injuries, but, next man up mentality. We got to be able to go in there and hopefully, create some explosives.
Well, I'm not going to kid you. I thought when you said elephant in the room, you were talking to me, and I was a little offended. But we can move on from that.
Dave.
Coach, what about Daniel Wiebe, though, on in that vein? Like the welcome to the CFL moment, you got 12 big pro athletes going to run at you for your first play. Like, kid did pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, he's tough. And there's some kids that you just know, like, oh, yeah, it's not going to be too big for him at all. Like, he's ready, and he's going to do something special. And he's a tough kid. He's, you can put him on a cover team, and, his versatility is great for me as special teams coach because I could have him block, I could have him run, I could have him tackle, I could have him return. So he's smart, tough, and dependable. So we need more guys just like him.
James Letcher Jr., it is fascinating when you talk to him and you hear him describe what he sees on a certain return. He's kind enough to answer those questions. And again, to me, it's like a moment in time has almost stood still for him, and then boom, he executes, explodes, and makes a play. I don't know if you can coach that. How do you coach that? What do you look for in a returner? I know Coach Mace says we need somebody that's a little crazy to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to have courage. There's no doubt, because once these guys put their foot on the gas, they're smaller than most of the guys coming down to tackle them. So, but these guys have such elite instincts, and they know how to set up block. Like the elite guys, they set up blocks, and they know when to hit it on contact. And the fearless guys are the guys who, sometimes they do get injured, but he's pretty special, and he's got elite instincts that you can't coach. And he's got great ball security and all that stuff, so he's a fun guy to coach for sure.
Kent Maugeri is our guest, of course, special teams coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You had your work cut out for you this offseason with a little bit of turnover on special teams. I mean, you look at a new punter, a new kicker, a new long snapper. How did you overcome so much turnover in that offseason and getting these guys used to the system?
It just takes time. It's reps. It really is. And the same thing, even a lot of our cover players are new. You know what I mean? So it's taking time and taking reps. And you got to learn from the good. You learn from the bad. Hopefully, we don't have much more bad. But the guys that we have are great. And that's all you can ask for. They care. They want to be pros. They want to be elite. So they come to work every day. They're early. They stay late. They're trying to improve, which is the key.
Mike Benson, it's really hard when you're looking at a long snapper to replace Jorgen Hughes, who essentially throughout his career was perfect. And I know that's a pretty high standard to achieve, but he strives for that. And you can see that. Today, for example, at practice, you had an iPad out working with him. To me, again, dummy on the sidelines, boy, those snaps look great, ready to go. Like Oscar's hammering them, like everything's happy. What are you seeing on those iPads that you can improve upon?
So every snap, for field goal, we're watching, all right, where's the location? Where are the laces? Are they a quarter out? Are they a quarter in? Is there anything he can do with his grip or, follow through? Maybe that's gonna help him there. And those guys are perfectionists. They want to be perfect every single rep. Every rep, it's fourth quarter of the Grey Cup in practice, and that's why those guys are high achievers. They work so hard. They care. Same thing on punt. He wants to know about accuracy and placement and velocity. So they're fun to coach guys like that who want to be great. The best ones I've ever coached, they want to be coached, and they want to be coached hard, and they want to improve.
How much does wind, rain, and everything else you can affect at Mosaic Stadium affect that long snap?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. It's huge. There's a reason I don't have much hair left. If there's rain in the forecast, we have a wet, we have a bucket out there, and we're doing wet ball drill. So unfortunate for us, we're up in Saskatoon, and we got all 4 seasons up there this camp. So we had a lot of time on task.
Kicking is certainly one of those positions where if no one's talking about you, you're doing a great job. Same with long snapper, and a lot of those positions on special teams. So I'm curious what you saw in Alex Hale's game over the weekend, where what was working so well for him.
I think he's getting more time with the new long snapper, with the holder. We had Aaron Crawford out there. He got injured. So Mike Benson, he comes, and it's different. Everything is new. It's like a quarterback throwing to a receiver. When there's sight adjust and things like that, you have, you build up you get used to the guys you're playing with. So I think it's just time. So now he's getting into a rhythm. He's got a real clean swing. He's got good power, gets great lift, and he's a good one too. I think he's got a bright future.
Seems to have a pretty good short game too. I thought the execution on the kickoff gave you a chance, which is maybe all you're after.
Oh yeah, he's got a bunch of special shots, we call them, just like in the golf game. He's got a bunch of different clubs in the bag, which makes it fun to coach.
Once the kick gets off, obviously you have to return to the cover portion of that back-to-back weeks. And I know that you're going to get mad, but you've lost sleep, I'm sure, over those 2 punt return or kick return touchdowns that have been given up. Are there times where you just tip your hat to the returner and say, hey, you got one on us? Or is it more minute, more detailed than that?
Oh, no, it's much more detailed than that. And you are what you put on tape. You know what I mean? So we've got we have a standard that we play by, and it doesn't matter who's up, whether we have injuries or not. This is our standard of how we play. And, the key for me is you have to learn from it. You know what I mean? You have to learn from it. And what do you do to improve? So, that's what we were doing at practice today and meetings and all that stuff. And it's my job to get these guys ready to roll. And I'm looking forward to watching them bounce back.
How do the athletes learn? Is it visual, seeing on film and then doing and replicating on the field? Is that the process that is the most effective and efficient?
Yep, exactly. Watch it on tape and then watch drills that we could do to correct it, and then do those drills on the field and then come together and do it in a group setting.
So when doing that, are you preparing for the athlete that may be returning, or are you preparing for the system that the athlete is going to employ?
It's more about us, so it's more about the system. Now, we always talk about the type of returner we're going to face, and then maybe the scheme that the opposing team does. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's back there. It's about us and coverage and working together, communicating, sprinting, leveraging the ball, and tackling. And when you play some of these elite returners like we have up here, if you just give them a little crease and you miss a tackle or two, then it's a wrap, as we saw firsthand, unfortunately.
And with your first loss of the season, we even had some diehard Rider fans calling, texting, and saying, maybe it's good that they just got this first loss out of the way. What's your mentality? I know it's always 1-0 every week for this organization, but is there stuff that can be taught? Is this a teachable moment?
Oh yeah, and it's expensive when you lose. You want to learn from a win, even though it's close. But I have a saying: you never let a team beat you twice. So you gotta learn from that tape, and you gotta flush it, and it's on to the next one. And it's 1-0 every day, 1-0 every rep, 1-0 every meeting, every weight room, like everything they do. That's the competitiveness, and it's our job to move forward. We got to bounce back from it, and I'm looking forward to it. I wish it was an early week, a short week for us this week to get that sour taste out, but it'll be fun.
I could list off 12 players from each special teams unit and talk about the dedication, what they put into it, the effort that they display. I had the opportunity to talk to Nick Wiebe today, and the one thing that that really stood out to me was the fact of the pride that they take in allowing special teams to be a factor, a positive factor, and then be connected with the rest of the team, which is one thing that Coach Mace told us post-game. When you hear that, what does that mean? And is that just the winning mentality that this club has learned about what it takes to be a special teamer on the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Oh yeah, well, it's a culture that they embrace. You know what I mean? And that's why we win. And that's why we've been a really good special teams unit over the last couple of years. It's because of those guys in the room and the accountability and the pride, the ownership. You know what I mean? Nobody grows up dreaming about covering a punt in the Grey Cup. They dream about throwing a touchdown pass or catching it or running it or whatever. And these guys are selfless, and they work hard, and they don't care if they get any credit ever. They just there's a standard in that room of and they just want to win the rep, do the be one of 12, and hopefully help the team win.
So you talk about catching a pass. Are there metrics that you can use? Obviously, the kickers you see, the punters you see, but for the guys that are covering the teams, so on and so forth?
There's always, height, weight, speed, all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like you already mentioned, you got to be a little bit crazy. And it's high velocity impacts on special teams a lot of times. So you want guys that are reckless, fearless and nasty. I'll take a tough kid over a, special athlete any day of the week, because sometimes on special teams, it's a street fight,
You're heading into a game against the Ottawa Red Blacks this weekend on the road. Quite a few familiar faces on the opposing bench, to say the least. How much emphasis, I know that you mentioned already you wish this was a short week, but how much emphasis are you putting back on bouncing back mentally after that loss to Toronto? And how do you really communicate that with the guys?
Yeah, I think I do. I think it's funny, as a football coach, and the players too, like, we're just programmed different. It's week to week, truly. Like, you flush it, you forget about it, and like whether we won or lost, it's on to the next one, and there's no time to waste of the loss, and you just get excited, and we grind to try to put a good plan in place for the guys to go out there and execute for this next opponent. So it's easy for us. We're just trained to do it, I guess, like robots.
You mentioned Alex Hale and the shots that he's got in his golf bag, so to speak. What about the tools of Oscar Chapman, and what have you seen from that young man thus far this season? Because I know it's much more than just going and kicking the ball as hard and far as you can.
Oh, yeah. He's special. He's going to be special. He really is. And he'll prove that here soon, I think, when it's not so dang windy every game. I feel like we've had two game plans, one with the wind at our back and one going into it. In the kicking game, which has been challenging. But for him, Like he's a special talent. He's got great hands. He's got poise. He can see things. He's got a bunch of different shots, powerful leg, accuracy, like everything and he's a great athlete. Everything in a punter that you want, he's got.
Can you tell me about your game prep and maybe in specific game day prep? You talk about the weather, right? So obviously you have to know what's going to be happening there, but at what point do you get a feel for, okay, here's the distance that we can look at going into the wind and going out of the wind, whether it be field goal, what we may have to execute as far as punts go? How does that game day preparation work for you and executing it with your players?
So throughout the weeks, you learn the players and you learn what they're good at. You learn what their range is on certain days. And then in pregame, that's what we're doing. So we'll kick and punt both end zones. And in a game like last week or the weeks before, I go and tell, all right, the range going, towards this end is the 40-yard line. Whereas, wind at our back, the range is 50-yard line going this way. And then, it'll change periodically, but it'll really affect like the style of punts. Sometimes you can't turn it over in certain winds. Sometimes you got to drop punt it. Sometimes you don't want to cross field kick it, due to certain, weather. But so there's a lot of things that come into play that we all have to have, and it varies quarter by quarter, especially in Saskatchewan.
Well, even in Ottawa, I mean, they haven't had a whole ton of luck with the weather out east this season. So I bet you're preparing for everything.
Oh, yeah, I know. And I check the forecast every day, and it changes every day. So I just wait till it gets a little bit closer. But we're preparing to have that bucket of water out there for practice. And we'll get ready to roll. I'll bring my rain jacket.
Other than potentially unfortunate weather, what do you expect in this battle against Ottawa?
Well, they're a tough special teams unit. They really are. They're good. They got a special returner. They got really good, kicker. Obviously, he's healthy this year, which I'm happy for him. Their punter is really good player. He's similar to ours. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of leg strength, and they've got a good nucleus of core teamers. So it's going to be a tough, physical, exciting, hopefully, brand of football. So we'll be ready to roll.
I don't know how you keep it all together during a game. You talk about, right, so you just went through all the scenarios that you have to play out in your mind when it comes to the punting or the kicking game itself. But then there's guys that get nicked up that are playing offense or defense and all of a sudden aren't available to you on special teams. How you run scenarios and walk through all the time. Like, how many different scenarios do you have?
So our first game, Coach Tusick and I, it looked like a bingo sheet, our depth chart. Like, it was crazy. And it's just like, holy hell. And we talk about it like day 4, we always talk about, okay, if this, then that. You know what I mean? And there's certain guys where, we got, you get an injury. Even though it says on the depth chart he's the backup, he's not going in. This guy's going in. And then you have to worry about, okay, well, now he was a core teamer. Now he's starting on defense or offense. So now we got to take him off 2 or 3 units. And then if he's playing a lot, he can't be on punt and punt return at the same time. So it is challenging. But, those are things that we talk about during the week and we hopefully prepare for. But, you hate to see it, but you always have to prepare.
If you can't answer this question, don't answer this question. But in jest, there are a couple of receivers that have suggested to me that if they needed to make a field goal and were pressed into action, they felt that they could do that. Do you have that same confidence in other players that are not named Alex Hale?
I do. Yeah.
There's things going down at closed practice we don't know about, Dave.
That's right. Well, we've got a couple, more even than you think, more than receivers, which is shocking.
Please tell me no O-lineman.
No O-lineman.
I could see Yoshi trying to sell you this.
I could see him too.
He's tall. He might be able to swing it.
Yeah, he might. He'd toe punch it. He'd be like one of them old school kickers that had that special toe attachment they throw on their cleat.
Oh, that's great.
I'm visioning this now, and this is not a good sight for.
Help but picture.
Oh yeah. So it's fun. Everybody thinks they can snap and kick and punt until you go out there and do it, and they see these guys and like, oh, okay, maybe I can't. But we do have some emergency kickers who are actually pretty good.
If you had to pick a coach, who's the emergency kicking coach?
Oh boy, emergency kicking coach. I'm gonna have to say Coach Quay. He's pretty good at everything. He's a good athlete, so I'd go with him.
I'm not disputing that. That does make a lot of sense in a lot of different ways.
It wouldn't be me, that's for sure. Break a hip out there.
Kent Maugeri, of course, special teams coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Really appreciate you carving out some time here for us today. I hope the weather is dry in Ottawa this weekend. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Kent Maugeri joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Of course, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. Kent joining us on our weekly installment of the Rider Coaches Show, which is also thanks to Steelcraft Doors, by the way. We should take a quick break. Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side with your clutch performer. It's the Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation, 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Yeah, let's look at your clutch performers. I have a couple unclutch and then a few just straight up clutches.
Wow, you are a clutch type person. Yeah, no, you came in the clutch. There you go.
Yeah, I saved you. You're welcome. My first one, I'm going to start with the unclutches because you want to finish on something positive, something light. I'm going to unclutch Toronto media, most of the Toronto media, not all, for over-exaggerating and jumping to conclusions. Alejandro Kirk was making headlines when he supposedly intentionally bypassed the home run jacket. Vladdy was hanging onto it right at the dugout, and he walked past it. So this was headline bulletin board material. Everyone was wondering, why didn't he take the home run jacket? It's his first home run since he got back, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Hazel May then reports, no, it was because it was a wardrobe malfunction. The sleeve was inside out, so he couldn't physically put the jacket on. If you're watching the stream, you can see it. Vladdy's trying to fix the jacket for him.
Ooh, I don't know. And I'm not going to...
Hazel May's tweet is right here.
Again, who am I to...
He was trying to fix it. Kirk was already by the dugout, didn't want to stand there and wait. Really no drama here, just a wardrobe malfunction. I believe Hazel May. But everything else, some of the other headlines were absolutely ridiculous and so sensationalized, which is now why I understand some of the complaints that professional athletes have about the media in Toronto.
Time out.
Okay,
now,
try me.
For the people that are not watching on the stream at sportscage.com, on X, on YouTube, they're going to go back and watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And Curtis has got this in super slow motion. And you can see the moment when Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s heart is broken because Alejandro Kirk walks away from him without, and he's just standing there with the jacket, what is going on? And even John Schneider, again, this is in super slow motion, right?
Okay, his face does look pretty sad. But he's maybe just confused. That might just be how Vladdy's face looks.
I'll save my opinion on the Toronto Blue Jays, Dave Thomas's opinion. I think there's something going on in that dressing room right now.
Really?
In that locker room, yeah.
Do you know something we don't know?
No, but I think that there is some
animosity,
frustration. Yeah, animosity is a good word too, towards Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And not over the money he makes, because he's been terrible. He's under 200 in the month of June, and he's not even running it out to first base anymore. There's been 2 plays in the last week where if he runs it to first base, and even a expedited jog would have allowed him to get there first because there was a bobble on defense, but he's not even running it out anymore.
However, if your teammate is going through a slump and you start giving them the cold shoulder, I think you got deeper problems in that dugout.
Oh, and I don't dispute that at all. Not at all.
Okay, well, you heard it here. Dave's starting rumors. There's trouble in the dugout with the Toronto Blue Jays.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, and for folks listening on radio on 620 CKRM, you know what? You can see the look on Vladimir Guerrero's face. It looks like somebody took the last donut out of the box of Timbits. You know what I mean? He looks that heartbroken.
When you slow it down, he does look kind of sad.
I'm telling you. There you go.
No, I still think we're sensationalizing. Anyway, that's my first unclutch.
Okay,
my second unclutch. Let's move on to this. Okay. Oh, boy. I don't know if you saw this, but late last week, Messi had a statue erected of him in a small town in Argentina, Patagonia, Argentina. Now, the sculptors used, you can see it on the stream right now, if you go to our YouTube channel or sportscage.com, because a picture is worth a million words. The sculptor used 70 tons of steel to make the statue of the iconic player. Messi obviously deserves all the statues in the world. The problem is he's leaning down, arm extended, pointing up with his finger to the sky. And the World Cup trophy is placed between his legs, right in front of the front of his body. I don't really know how to describe this.
It's his iconic goal celebration, right? Where he goes running and then he slides on his knees. Right?
Yes. But the problem is, as he's sliding on his knees, legs spaced apart, the trophy is right in between his legs, and it looks like male anatomy.
The placement of the trophy is what's got you unclutched.
That is what's unclutched. And the unfortunate reality is now they have to go fix it because people started complaining. I don't know how you do that. I really don't know how you do that. But yeah, I'm sure Messi's got bigger things to worry about right now. So that was another unclutch. But I can give us a palate cleanser. What?
Next.
What? Okay.
Just go to the next.
Clutch. This is some positive news.
Perfect.
Saskatoon Valkyries. I got to stop laughing. Stop it. We are adults here, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Saskatoon Valkyries 2026 WWCFL champions yet again, thanks to a lopsided 40-7 win over the Edmonton Arctic Pride over the weekend at Saskatoon Minor Football Field. So this is the Valkyries' 6th straight championship title, 11th all-time since its inception, and it was another undefeated season, keeping their dynasty alive with a dominant win. And I just love, if you're watching the stream at the start of this video, head coach Pat Barry could be seen getting dumped on.
Water shower.
Yeah, with the water shower. It was great. Saskatoon took early control, never looked back. The victory also secured, again, the club's latest league title, extending their dominance in this league, which is really, really cool to see. So that is my clutch. I do have one more. Just, do I want to do one? Do I want to do two? Maybe I'll just do one more.
Just keep going, Tegan. You're on a roll. You're on a roll.
You just want me to get further and further away from the Messi statue.
Yes, please.
Kelowna, touchdown Kelowna. That took place over the weekend in the CFL. 19,000 strong, sold out crowd, which was pretty impressive for that game. And then the Tevin Jones tutty, that if you're watching the stream. So he kind of bobbles it, but then he catches it, and then he walks, he runs, and then starts walking up to the end zone, and then just falls back. Kind of breaking the hearts of the Lions, showing that one. But hey, I thought it was pretty cool. And then the touchdown celebration shortly thereafter, getting into that World Cup spirit. His teammates line up, and then he kicks it past him as they pretend to save it like it's a goal in a soccer game.
I thought that was pretty clutch too. I like the celebration. You know what? I like the celebration. There are some people that really don't like the excessive celebration. Like,
it's football.
Edmonton used to have dandies on the track and when they did the bobsled thing and stuff. But yeah.
Well, it was all fun and games until people did take it maybe a little too far, and then players started getting fined. Because wasn't there a nacho cheese situation?
Yes,
with the riders at one point.
Somebody went and jumped into the.
There was like a hot tub or a couch or something.
Yeah, it was.
I'm misremembering.
Like a VIP area, right? They jumped into the riders where there's some rider fans, and they had some nachos.
Hopefully they bought them more.
I'm sure.
Because those aren't cheap. Okay, final one, and then I'm going to let you go finally, Dave. Riders scratch ticket. You remember those scratch tickets they were selling?
Yes.
Across the province, where you could have an opportunity to, it was like 10 years worth of season tickets, special suite experiences, cash money. Apparently, I don't know who the winner is yet. And Dave, you and I were talking about this earlier. Apparently, a $75,000 winning ticket was sold in Regina.
Wow.
That is pretty clutch.
That is clutch.
Just remember who your favorite SportsCage host is if you happen to win $75,000 and ever wanted to bring me a present. Just saying.
Okay. Fair.
Okay, what you got?
You know what? I'm going big picture here. And Major League Baseball doesn't always get it right.
No.
But the automated ball strike system, I think, is pretty good the way that they have brought it in and have executed it. They were talking over the weekend, the Texas Rangers have one of the highest records when it comes to challenging balls and strikes at 65%. So they're up around 65%. Most teams are 50-50, right? So if the officials have raised their game to the point that it's 50-50, that's a great thing. And the way that they do it seamlessly, quickly, and move on with the game, that's clutch. So I was one of the skeptics that didn't believe.
Okay.
But now I believe in the automated ball strike system in Major League Baseball coming in clutch.
You have been convinced.
Thank you.
See, we can change our minds.
There's true things.
Yeah. Okay, clutch performers. Unless we have any more. Curtis, we're good? Okay, I think that means we're good. Clutch performers brought to you by Keln Solar. They can help you with your livestock operations. Book now to get your solar quotes for your home, your farm, your cabin. Save money with the local company. That's Keln Solar in Lumsden. Also, Saskatchewan Roughrider 50/50. If you want in on this, you have until Thursday at 10 p.m. to get your tickets and be in for the early bird prize. Obviously, if you get a ticket, you're in for the 50/50 jackpot. Winner takes home half the cash. It always gets up there. I don't even know what the last one was at. I'll maybe need to look into that. But we know how to do 50/50s here in Saskatchewan. So if you want in on this, early bird prize this week. Speaking of the Jays, or sorry, not of the Jays, that was last week. Labor Day game, package for 2 this September. You want to go? 1-night hotel stay in Regina, 2 custom rider jerseys, 2 gold tickets to the Labor Day Classic on Sunday, September the 6th, and 3 winners will be drawn. So you got a couple of opportunities here if you get in before Thursday, July the 2nd at 10 p.m. That's this Thursday at Riders 50/50, riders5050.ca. Okay, Monday edition of the Sports Cage brought to you by SAS Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. Make sure you check us out online, sastoday.ca. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a little bit here. It's the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back. Monday installments of the Sports Cage. It's brought to you by SAS Today. I'm Tegan Whitco with Dave Thomas and Curtis Gammon. Of course, he's keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, on the stream as well. At sportscage.com and our YouTube channel as well. Join in the conversation at any point if you'd like. 306-936-6262. And I'm missing out on a bunch of these text messages here. I'm so sorry, guys. We were talking earlier about the Canucks picking up Caleb with his dad being the coach of the team. And Trevor said, really big Canucks fan, I thought Vancouver would not draft Caleb, which would have been a mistake. That is the player that Vancouver needed to draft. Calgary just did the same with Iginla, too. So, I guess it was the right call, according to Trevor. Appreciate that, Trevor.
Well, Trevor, I am with you. I'm a Canucks fan, and we should get together around Remembrance Day right after the Canucks have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Ooh.
I just don't see good things on this roster.
I mean,
sorry.
You got to have a little positivity, man.
Yeah, I know. Okay, sorry. Trevor, I'm going to agree with you. I think that it was the right pick. I do. The kid's in a tough spot.
He is in a tough spot, and yeah, don't doubt that. You also just had some news on the Toronto Blue Jays. I know we were just talking a little bit about them and how there could be maybe a little bit of animosity brewing inside the dugout, but you have an injury update?
Addison Barger was battling. So he had an ankle injury, then he came back for a game, hurt his elbow, and now he's been rehabbing the elbow. And it was getting to the point that he was going to resume some full baseball activities, and now he has a broken back. So, he got injured while on the injured list. So he's going to be out for weeks with a stress reaction. I don't know what that means. Yeah, small fracture in his back.
Okay. Meanwhile, former Toronto Blue Jay, Bo Bichette, apparently getting emotional ahead of his return to Toronto.
That's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets and the Jays.
Mm-hmm. Savage going to be on the mound for that one? Oh, if you're watching the stream, you can see Bo getting a little bit upset. Didn't he also get booed shortly after he went
It's
going
to be interesting to see what the reaction will be from the fans tonight.
I think not much of a betting woman. We all know that. You've heard me do the sprinkle of the day before.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Tegan. I think he's going to be welcomed with open arms. I think that because Bo was such a good guy and he was very involved in the community during his tenure with the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't think that will be a problem coming back.
I think he'll get a big ovation the first time he goes up, probably after that first at-bat, which I'm assuming will likely be in the first inning, as the Jays can't stop anybody in the first. But anyways, sorry, just a Dave Thomas thought. But they'll probably show a video tribute, right?
Yeah.
That'll get the emotion going for him a little bit. But then after that, I think the fans will react accordingly to a player who left the franchise.
You think the Boo Birds are going to come out?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I would be happy to be wrong.
Well, and like I said, don't listen to me and how I like to sprinkle, but I just realized we probably should do the sprinkle of the day. That was a good reminder. Again, don't listen to me, but let's roll through it here, shall we? Sprinkle of the day. You can get in on all of the sports action you'd like. You simply just need to go to their website, really, sportselect.ca, and then you are going to generate your QR code, and then you're going to bring it to your local Lotto Spot retailer. And then, you could always fill out the old little card if you'd like to. Lock in your bet, local Lotto Spot retailer. Every bet is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus, and you got to play responsibly. So you can look at tonight's Toronto Blue Jays game. And I don't think that there's going to be any props as to whether or not Bo Bichette's going to get booed or cheered.
No, probably not.
Unfortunately. That would be kind of fun. But we are just looking at the lines for tonight. So the over-under on this puppy, 8.5. Okay. And then you have the Mets are at, the point spread on this is not great. Minus half a point to 1, or just half a point. I don't think I would go on this one. What would you do, Dave?
It's two teams that are disastrous at times, and so it would probably serve you well if you want to go on that one, go on the over. And then,
or no one scores anything.
Yeah. Total bases for Springer, 2.25.
Soto or Springer. I wouldn't even do that. Can we check out futures just really quickly here? Because maybe we want to sprinkle a little bit and take a look at this game tonight in the World Cup. Whoever wins, of course, is going to be facing Canada this upcoming weekend.
So between Morocco and the Netherlands.
Yes, so Morocco and the Netherlands. I want to see who the favorite is here on the futures.
Drum roll, there we go.
There we go. Morocco at Netherlands. Okay, so over under 2.5. And then you got, let's see here, on the pro line, 290, 280 for a tie. Oh.
So the Netherlands are favored. Slim margin.
Not by much.
No. 2.5 goals was the over-under. And we've got to...
I would go under.
Yeah.
You got to go under on that. Hey, again, don't listen to me. Proceed with caution.
That's true.
Yeah. But it is very easy, and you can go to sportselect.com right now. I know you're going to be sitting at work not doing anything anyway, so you might as well just lock in your bets, get that QR code, swing by your Lotto Spot retailer on your way home, lock it in, and then you can have that much more enjoyment when you watch the game at 7 o'clock tonight.
And if you are a FIFA and World Cup fan, there is high drama happening right now. Germany just
2-1.
took a 2-1 lead on a corner kick. However, this is going to be the VAR, right? So the video assistant referee. So the Paraguayan goaltender bumped into a German. Now, again, I don't know if he hit him hard enough that would have actually bumped a feather or not. However, the goaltender went down, and so now they're determining whether or not this goal should stick or not. So the Paraguayans were way out on the field during the celebration. They're out in extra time right now, the 104th minute, and now the referee's starting to give cards out to the
This would be one of the most challenging sporting events to ref.
Oh my goodness.
Because, okay, I know there's always the jokes. Soccer players like to flop. It's true in every sport. Let's just call a spade here.
And they took the goal off the board. So they called it back. They called a foul instead.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Is this game going to go all night?
Well, no, because it'll go to penalty kicks next, right? And again, that's a really, really tough one. Like, I'm not a real big fan of the shootout.
No.
In hockey.
No.
But penalty kicks is even worse or harder in soccer.
No, it's harder to get a foul at least.
But yeah, so the video review has gone, and yeah, wow.
Yeah, 105-36 is how deep into this match we are. So, again, they are all tied up right now.
Shouldn't be watching television while working, should I?
That's like the one thing we get paid to do.
Fair enough. I'm going to continue to work, and I might even stay overtime for everybody.
Ooh, look at that. Okay, we like it. By the way, that was your sprinkle of the day, brought to you by Sports Select. So if you want to check it out, sportselect.com. We should probably take a quick break here so we can get Crufty on the line. And then we will be back in just a jiffy here, okay? It's a Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the Price Match Guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Western Canadian Baseball League action. You got the Beavers in Medicine Hat the Beavers are in Fort McMurray taking on the Giants. My goodness, the Medicine Hat Mavericks are in Regina. They're going to be facing the Red Sox tonight, 7 o'clock. Major League Baseball, we are getting closer and closer, about 10 minutes away here from the Jays, welcoming in Bo Bichette in the New York Mets. Savage will be on the mound for the Jays as well. In the NHL, of course, we're coming off the draft on Friday last week. Now we brace for free agent frenzy this Canada Day, which is Wednesday this week. Gallagher was also announced to be off to Vancouver, which is very interesting. The Florida Panthers acquired rights from the Anaheim Ducks for Radko Gudas in exchange for rights to veteran forward A.J. Greer. Both of these players unrestricted free agents, so now these teams can negotiate with them before the free agency window opens this Wednesday. Other names are going to be watching closely in the world of hockey: Werenski, Robertson, Hellebuck, Larkin. Where do they land? I guess we'll find out. World Cup of Soccer. Canada headed to the FIFA World Cup round of 16 for the first time ever. This comes after that 1-0 win over South Africa. Canada will face either the Netherlands or Morocco in the next round. Those two teams will play tonight at 7 o'clock. Brazil also scored in the 95th minute to win and knock out Japan from the World Cup with a 2-1 final earlier today. And Germany versus Paraguay right now is in extra time. Still tied up at 1?
1-1.
1-1. Okay. Sorry, they cut away because I think someone flopped again.
No, it was halftime of extra time.
Halftime of extra time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's where we're at with that Germany and Paraguay match. And then again, 7 o'clock tonight will be the next one, which is the one that Canadian soccer fans will be watching very closely. SportsCage.com poll: which winless CFL team is most likely to win first? Do you think it's going to be Ottawa, or do you think BC will get it together and they'll pull off their first victory in week 5? You can vote at sportscage.com. That is your sports ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey. Okay, I think now it's time to head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and talk to our man Crofty, Croft Electric. Did you have a retro clutch performer that you wanted to include, Crofty?
Yeah, I was listening to you guys on the clutch performer, and I want to mention Jaden Dalkey's parents for saving my tailgate last game. We ran out of propane, and they happened to be the people right beside us, and he could hear that we were running out or we were having problems, just simply rolled his barbecue over into our parking spot and let us use it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, good people, great people. They drove down from the game, so I think he was even hurt. I don't think he even played last week, so that was awesome.
Yeah, the Dalkeys are a great family, by the way. And, yeah, I could see them doing that.
Yeah, unbelievable people. We had a great visit with them. Before we ran out of propane, they were kind of trying to help us get our barbecue going. And, he was once he'd cooked his hot dogs and whatever, he kind of just gave us his. It was awesome. Great people.
So, I'm thinking here now, I'll have to make sure I pass that along. I'll tell Jaden Dalkey that you believe his parents have good gas. And a lot of it.
Yeah, love them. Yeah.
Dave, come on.
They had gas.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah.
So,
Crofty, it's been that kind of afternoon.
Here's what I'm going to say, is that we always want to be prepared, right?
Yes, of course we do.
And so things are going to happen when it comes to the electricity, when it's whether it's on the yard or whether it's on home. And let's just face it, you don't want to be caught at a tailgate without propane, or so to speak, when you're talking about your electrical needs. Hence, you should talk to the people at Croft Electric. Well, they may not check the propane. They will check your service. And if you become a preferred member, they will take care of it for you because you get all the perks, right, Crofty?
100%. Great segue. I pretty much don't have to say anything. You covered it all. But yeah, become part of our preferred program, and you get priority booking because, like, we all know, when this rain stops, everybody's going to start doing their projects and want to get it done first, and we want to be the people that can have you signed up with our preferred program so we can get over to your home, your business, your farm, whatever it is, and help you out as quick as possible in the most cost-effective way possible. And the best way to do that is get us out early, let us do that 24-point inspection. We'll do some thermal imaging on your panel and your electrical system, make sure everything looks good, make sure it's going to perform when you need it. If it's a farm, you need it in the fall and the harvest. If it's your cabin, this is going to be the weirdest July long weekend. Most people are just taking the whole week off, so it's July long week. So we want to make sure that cabin's ready for you.
And people can call you, get you out, get some quotes done, and you do any project, right? Big and small?
For sure. We have, a bunch of different techs that girls and guys that are have all kinds of experience in commercial, residential, and farm. So yes, for sure. Give us a call. We'll come out. We'll give you a quote. Or if it's just an emergency, if it's something you just need done, we're happy to come out and just get it done for you. Give us a call at 306-586-1333 or check us out on the web, www.croftelectric.com. There is an online contact us. So this time of day, this is the time to, our office is closed. So Amy has gone home for the day, so she can't schedule you in. But if you need us, go online, www.croftelectric.com, and hit that contact us.
And if you need propane, don't contact them.
I'll be ready next tailgate.
Dave and I are going to come check up on you next game and make sure that you're not lying.
I like it. Please do.
Do it right. Do it once. Make sure that you give Dan Croft Electric a call, 306-586-1333. Thanks so much for this, Dan.
Hey, thanks. Have a great Monday and stay dry.
Yeah, right back at you, buddy. We'll talk soon. Dan Croft Electric, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, as he always does with us on Mondays. We appreciate that. Also, just want to quickly rattle off here before we got to take a break and get to news here. Pick the score. SaskTel, pick the score. You can send in your predictions along with your name right now if you want a chance to win a $200 gift card from SaskTel, in addition to tickets to the next Rider home game. Right now, we have Val predicting 37-26. Jeff is predicting Riders 32, Red Blacks 21. We also have another one here, Hayden 34-26 for the Riders. What do you think? Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up on the other side, we're going to catch up with Darian Durant. Gord Pritchard is also going to be joining us in the Regina Red Sox Report, so don't miss out on any of that. We'll be back. It's a 620 CKRM. SportsCage.com is also where you can stream us, and on the mighty 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. It is brought to you by SAS Today, the voices of Saskatchewan. You can visit sastoday.ca, the leading provincial online news, ag, and sports portal. We got everything you need. And of course, I am your Monday host, Tegan Whitco, with Dave Thomas and Curtis Gammon on the controls here, keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, on the stream as well, sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and X. Of course, you can join in the conversation at any point. Feel free to do so by texting us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. If you've missed out on any of our conversations thus far, you can always go back and listen in podcast form. We had special teams coordinator from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Kent Maugeri, joined us on the line earlier. Arash Madani popped by to talk a little bit of World Cup of Soccer, specifically Canada. Lots of other good stuff in there as well, so feel free to go back. Still to come, Gord Pritchard for your Regina Red Sox Report. And right now, it's Double Talk with Darian Durant.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture. Precision in every pass and consistent depth and better yield. Visit DutchOpeners.com. On farm for you.
Darian, before we get to some American football, I gotta ask, are you following the World Cup of Soccer?
Not like I should. I feel bad about it because I really became a soccer fan over my time as in Canada. So I've just been busy and haven't been able to keep up like I would like. So I feel sorry about that.
You know, Dave and I were talking about that right as it got underway, and then I told him how much I was watching. That might have been a white lie, and then I made him feel all guilty about it, and now he's addicted.
No, not addicted.
You see how quickly he took that back?
I'm not addicted. Actually, if there's a part of it that I'm addicted to, it's to see how much you can go ahead and try to portray that you're injured when you actually haven't been touched. That's kind of the focal point for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
there's-
flopping going on.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Well, let's talk about the other kind of football, Darian, because that's what we have you here for. I just want to dive right into this Riders and Argos game because obviously it's a loss. But the offense put up 34 points against the Toronto Argonauts. So as a quarterback, do you leave that game feeling more encouraged or frustrated because you put up 34 points and you still didn't get the dub?
Yeah, you could look at it like that, but I think that this game was pretty much a tale of mistakes by the Riders. I think Trevor going in on the goal line, huge interception, that took points off the board, and then Jalen Johnson's fumble when the Riders were down 2 late in the game, and then Toronto went in to score to make it a 2-score game at that point. Just huge mistakes by the Riders, points taken off the board. But yeah, you can be encouraged for sure. Goes for over 400 yards again. He's going to be efficient each and every week, but with Samuel Emilus going down to injury and the mistakes that the Riders made, man, I think that's what cost them the game.
You mentioned the mistakes, and Trevor Harris himself pointed out how there was miscommunication between himself and Sam Emilus in that goal end zone interception. That's not like a playbook miscommunication, is it?
Well, I think from what I saw in the replay, McFadden was able to undercut Emilus, and Emilus wasn't able to kind of protect Trevor. And then Trevor, it was a play fake at the time, a play action. So Trevor kind of had his head down as he was faking the ball to the running back, and then he wasn't able to spot the DB. And you just have to give credit to McFadden. Played inside technique the entire time. He was able to jump it, and because it was play action, Trevor, he didn't have his eyes on the DB, couldn't spot him, so he just trusted that Emilus would cut in front of him, and unfortunately, Emilus wasn't able to come downhill and protect that throw.
So you see James Letcher Jr. go down in that first half, and then you see Samuel Emilus is then going and returning punts, and then he goes down. Unfortunate situation for the green and white, but that also does, you never like to see guys go down, but you see a guy like Daniel Weeb who has an opportunity now to step up, next man up, and he scores his first career CFL touchdown. What did you see in his game? What did you like about him? What do you think he can improve on?
He's explosive. I mean, I like the catch, not the touchdown catch, but his first catch, when he was able to get some yards after the catch, he showed that he's explosive. He's a very short, compact guy. It seems like you can get the ball in his hands early, and he's going to be able to make some guys miss and make some things happen. So what I'm seeing from him, I think this is a great opportunity for him to get some valuable time. We saw last year with Sam Emilus going down as well, other guys had to come in and step up and make plays. So this is another opportunity for the Riders to show their depth. And Daniel Weeb did a great job of coming in and making sure he could keep that production up from that position.
Trevor Harris talked about, hey, you can add him to my list of guys that I threw their first CFL touchdown pass to.
Yeah.
Do you actually have that list?
I don't, but I think I saw a special on Trevor and all the guys that he's thrown touchdowns to, and it's just a crazy long list, man. So that just shows his longevity and how he's able to basically produce in any situation he's been in, any team he's been on. He's been able to put the ball in the end zone, and he's showing that he can still do it.
So at one point in the football game, there was 3 different rookie receivers in for Trevor Harris. So if you go ahead and you put yourself in that huddle, what are you doing or saying, trying to keep everybody on the same page? Because there's a lot of nerves and emotion, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure when Trevor's in the huddle calling plays, he's elaborating a lot more and making sure these guys know exactly what spots they need to get to. And in some instances, it can take away from Trevor's reads and the thing he's going through with his thought process. So it's definitely kind of like bringing the guys along. It's the younger guys. You have to put in that extra effort to make sure that they know what's going on. So it can be difficult, but Trevor, being the veteran that he is, he's been able to adjust to any situation. And he's still producing, man. Even with those guys in the game, the Riders were still able to drive the ball down the field, make some huge plays. And even late in the fourth quarter, they did the same thing. So, I think they'll be fine.
Sorry, and you talk about fresh faces on that Riders roster this weekend when Toronto was in town. We got our first look at Quali Conley, especially with AJ Ouellette out for that game. What did you see in him?
I love what I saw from him. He was very explosive. I would have loved to see him get more carries. Fortunately, when you're down like the Riders were, you kind of have to put the ball in the air a lot more than you would like. But you see the explosiveness. You see him getting outside a couple tosses where he was able to outrun defenders, and he's a physical guy. He's not easy to bring down at all. So, depending on AJ's injury, love to see more from him. I think he can bring a dynamic defense. He showed that he has that big play in him. And, the Riders need that a little bit. You hate to not have that aspect of the game in your game. Trevor's more of a precise guy, takes the underneath throws. But there are times when you need the big play, and he's shown that he can do that for the team. So we'll see how much carries and how much time he can get moving forward.
Well, speaking of that, obviously the running backs have to produce in the blocking aspect as well. And Quali said, hey, it's very simple. No block, no rock. And I thought that was great verbiage. But as a guy that sometimes stands too close to Luke in a game, you can take a hit, and it doesn't feel great. So you've obviously taken a few. Trevor took some big hits in that game. How do you reset?
I mean, look, I think you have to give Toronto props, man. They're a good football team. I don't think anyone expected this from them, especially Ryan Dinwiddie leaving. The questions about Chad Kelly coming into this season, no one knew what type of team Toronto would be, but we can't forget that they're a couple years removed from being Grey Cup champs. And then you look at Janarian Grant, who was Special Teams Player of the Year a few years ago, man. He's explosive. So Toronto has playmakers across the board. I like to call Mittal, their receiver, a young Nick Lewis. He looks like him to me, the way he gets it done. Yards after catch. So, more than you look at this as a failure for Saskatchewan, you just have to look at the fact that Toronto's a very, very good football team, and they came into a tough environment and got it done.
Sometimes a loss like this can expose problems that maybe wins can hide a little bit more, at least to the naked eye. Those of us not in the locker room. Do you think that this first loss of the season may actually end up benefiting the Riders long term?
We'll see. I think it's all about it being a learning experience, guys. I think more than anything, injuries may be a problem for the Riders. I mean, Roland Milligan's out. It depends on Emulus's status and how serious his injury is. AJ Ouellette is down. You have some key guys that are banged up early in the season, and that contributes directly to losses showing up in the record column. So hopefully it's nothing major. These guys can get back on the field soon. You need to pile up as many wins early in the season. You need your vets in there, and when you're playing a lot of backups early, man, it could I don't want to say a recipe for disaster, but it's not a good thing to have a lot of rookies and backups playing so early in the season. So we'll see how it goes.
Is this potentially a trap game in Ottawa this week? You're coming up a team that's 0-3. You got beat against Toronto. You've got some injuries, but you've also got some feels, right? Because you're coming up against a bunch of your former teammates.
Yeah. This definitely could be a trap game. Ottawa maybe coming in with a little more confidence, being able to go to Montreal and put up, I think, 35 points and come back and fight and claw back in that game. Pimpleton at the return. This is another explosive return guy that the special teams has to be ready for. He's a touchdown waiting to happen when he touches the ball. So you have to go in there prepared. You can't sleep on this team. And like I said, with the injuries, hopefully the Riders can overcome them, because this is going to be a tough environment. This red-black team is going to be very, very hungry, and they're going to come out ready to play.
Who is the advantage in the familiarity factor, if you will? Because Jake Mayer went against the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense every day last year. Trevor Harris, he knows exactly where C.J. Rivas and A.J. Allen and Haba Baldonado are going to be. Who wins that?
I don't know, man. And I think more than a player chess match, this is a coach's chess match, really, with two former colleagues going at it in Ryan D. and Corey Mace. I mean, one being the offensive coordinator, head coach, and one being the defensive coordinator. So these two teams know each other very well. You just spoke on the player aspect of how different players on different sides have been in both systems. So this is a really interesting matchup from that perspective, with both teams each other so well. So it's going to be about being physical, going out there, being prepared, being in position, and making sure that the big plays don't happen on sides.
Should we move on to some other games that took place this weekend, Dave?
I've got two more quick ones on Ottawa.
Go for it.
Okay, so when it comes to Ottawa, right, so we talked about the advantage, right? There's tendencies that you see in film and you learn about your opposition. Can you try too hard to change your tendencies against such a familiar opponent?
Yeah, you can, and the more I think about your initial question, with Trevor going against CJ Rivas and some of these guys in practice, every single may know a stance. He may know, some of the tips and tricks that these guys make about just being on the bus or being in the meeting rooms together. So, you may from the game plan a little bit, and you may see something you think you can take advantage of because you just know that player personally, right? So that could happen. But I think that, with Trevor and with Jake's trying so hard to make sure that he can hold his job together. He has to fight off McLeod Bethel Thompson, who's also a great quarterback in himself. And then Trevor coming in, you need a big win with the injuries and all that going on. So I think these guys will stick to game plan and how the coaches, implement things so than just trying to read a player or knowing a tendency from a former player.
Okay, last one on this Ottawa team against Saskatchewan this weekend. And I guess at the expense of perhaps having Darian Durant lose all faith in me being somewhat credible, are the Ottawa Red Blacks a better team without Eugene Lewis in the lineup? Now, hear me out. I'm not dissing him. He is an amazing receiver. But wouldn't there be some pressure on him to get him the football, being, the salary that he's got, being the dominant receiver that he can be? But I thought Jake had that burden lifted off him this week without him in the lineup. He didn't have to try to find him. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point. You kind of look at the Joe effect of Terrell Owens and how, Gino's kind of demanding. I know Gino, he was my teammate in Montreal. I know, how he could, even though he was young, when he didn't get the ball or when he was open, he would kind of let the quarterback know or, let him know to throw it up and just give him an opportunity, because I've said before, he's the best 50-50 catcher in the league. So sometimes you can disregard your read and just throw it up. And, more times than not, it's a mistake, but sometimes he comes down with it and he makes a huge play and it takes the pressure off the quarterback. But without him being in the lineup, now you can go through your reads. You don't have to worry about a guy tapping you saying, make sure you look at me on this play or that play. So it could be a big burden lifted off of Jake Mayer's shoulders with him not being there. But I don't want to say that because he's so productive. I just think that if Ottawa can utilize his talents the right way, his skill set, get him those fade balls in the red zone, give him 50-50 opportunities when you're close to the end zone. I think if you use his talents in the right way, then, that'll help him. He'll be more excited if he can get touchdowns, and then he won't be such a problem towards the quarterback.
And just a point of clarification, I fully appreciate what Gino Lewis brings. He is an amazing athlete, right?
For sure.
Just going on the mental with what you were saying.
Yeah, I get it.
So quickly here, BC Calgary played in Kelowna instead of Vancouver, of course, with the FIFA World Cup moving and displacing some teams here. 19,000 people, sellout crowd. Vernon Adams Jr. admitted that win felt really good. It felt like he was getting a monkey off of his back, finally beating his former team. As a player, how satisfying is that to beat a team after they let you go?
I get where he's coming from, man. It's a great feeling. Especially when they feel like, with Nathan Rourke, you can kind of understand, but if they were to bring in a guy because they didn't have faith in him anymore, then, you definitely want to stick it to him the next time you play him. So I understand how he feels. You definitely want to, you don't want it to be close. I'll tell you that. You want to go in and put up 50 on your former team if you could. But more so than him beating BC, I think the environment, the pressure, the way they've been losing in Calgary over the few weeks, I think it's good for them to get that confidence back and go get a huge win on the road.
I can't remember that you were ever in Touchdown Atlantic. It was definitely being held while you were still playing, Darian. As an athlete, does that change anything, that going to that type of temporary venue?
I think so. More so for vets. I think as a vet, you're used to playing in certain stadiums, right? You've gotten used to the wind in those stadiums. You've gotten used to the atmospheres. Rider fans travel like crazy all over the nation. It could definitely feel like a home setting wherever you go, but it is different. You don't have comfortable feelings that you would in some of these cities, some of these stadiums. So it could be a little bit different. It may feel more like a preseason game as far as your feel, even though it counts as a regular season game. Definitely different being in a neutral site for sure.
So BC announced that they decided to part ways with their special teams coordinator, Corey McDermott, after an 0-3 start. So what does that say? What type of message does that send to a locker room this early into the season?
That you need to make sure you're on your P's and Q's and you're doing your job. I think that Buck is just saying, and this organization is just saying, we won't put up with mistakes. Guys may have not been prepared in certain situations, or even is just not good enough to be productive. So you have to make sure, especially when you're 0-3. Jobs are up for grabs. Coaches want to see who can come in and help them win, because if we all know, if a team loses, the coach is the first to go, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. And with Buck leaving a very, very comfortable situation as a coordinator in Winnipeg, coming to take over to be a head coach, it'll be sad to be 1 or 2 years in and then you have to go. So at this point, they're just making a statement. Look, we're going to do anything and everything we make sure we're putting the best coaches on the sideline and the best players on the field. And everyone better look out, because your job is up for grabs, except Nathan Rourke, of course.
Yeah, he might be okay.
3-0, Cody Fajardo's job isn't up for grabs with the Edmonton Elks. Yeah. Is he playing some of the best football of his career, or what have you seen from him? And probably doesn't help having Justin Rankin standing beside you in the backfield either.
I mean, he's just a winner. He gets it done any way he has. If he has to throw the ball 40 times, he can do that. If he has to throw it 10 times, turn around and hand it off to Rankin, he's very good at doing that as well. I'm sure any quarterback in the league would love to turn around and hand it off to Justin Rankin. But Cody's just doing what he does, man. He's feisty. He's a winner, and he's shown that everywhere he's been. And I think Rankin said in an interview that this is a different Edmonton squad, right? They've forgotten about all the bad years. They've shown that they can go into any type of environment and win. A couple games have been in the rain, and now you have a game in Winnipeg where they make a game-winning drive and show that they can get it done. And kudos to them and kudos to that staff for putting the right pieces in place. And they have weapons at every single position as well. So they'll be a team that's atop of the West come later in the season.
So Justin Rankin is off to the best 3-game rushing start since Corey Sheets in 2013, a name that you might recognize. Do you see any similarities between those two players?
Absolutely. Just a big play waiting to happen, man. As far as their stature goes, of course, Justin Rankin, he's a little shorter, more stock eye. But when it comes to big playability, those guys are right there. And as a quarterback, this is, I had my most success when I had Corey Sheets, where, defenses just couldn't sit and play coverage. They had to worry about a guy that's a threat from anywhere on the field. And that's just a benefit for Cody Fajardo as well, right? He can now see coverages. He knows when he can take chances downfield. He's doing a good job of managing the offense and not putting the ball in harm's way. So having a running back that can do any and everything you need him to do, you have to talk about Rankin's receiving ability as well, right? He's, definitely a threat out of the backfield as well. So having a guy like that as a quarterback's best friend, and you see it's a direct reflection of Edmonton's record right now.
Why do some quarterbacks? So this is where the question comes from. Nathan Rourke has had an entirely different receiving core have to come in the first 3 weeks of their games. They're 0-3 because of it. He hasn't found, it seems, a lot of chemistry with some of the guys that are injected. However, Trevor Harris at this point just seems to be able to roll with that next man up mentality. Is that just a byproduct of experience?
Yeah, I think it's experience. And I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Nathan Rourke, man. Being the highest paid guy in the league, there was some talks during the offseason about him doing the flag football thing for the country. I mean, he's got a lot going on, and he has a lot of pressure, under his belt. And then coming in, replacing Vernon Adams after the success that VA had in BC, that's another thing, because if VA continues to play well in Calgary and then Nathan struggles, in BC. Now you're going to hear rumblings about, well, maybe the Lions should have kept VA and Nathan isn't worth the money that he's getting. So he's under a lot of pressure. I know they say that Saskatchewan is tough on quarterbacks, but sometimes, your price tag, kind of puts a target on you and it puts that extra pressure on you. There you go. And, that I think we're seeing some of his interceptions are just, they're very questionable, right? He just seems to not be confident where he's throwing the ball. Even though there's some newer guys in the lineup, he just doesn't seem to be ripping the ball downfield like we've seen from him. So, something's going on mentally, I think, and, they need to clean it up as soon as possible if they're going to have any success.
Pressure is a privilege. I get all that. Who's got more pressure this week to get the win? Ottawa at home against Saskatchewan or BC playing in Kelowna against Edmonton?
Oh, I definitely think it's BC. I mean, Ottawa isn't expected to beat the Riders at all, right? I mean, the Riders have been rolling early in the season. They're putting up all types of points. They're pretty much dominating everyone they're playing, right? So pressure is on BC to start 0-4, to put yourself, especially in the Western Division, to put yourself at the bottom. I just think the confidence of this team, this organization, would be crushed. And, I don't think I think people expect Edmonton to come in there and win as well because of how Edmonton has been playing. So BC is definitely under a lot of pressure, and I don't like to, say things about hot seats being there. But, I mean, if you look from top to bottom, man, no one expected BC, especially with the highest paid QB in the league, to be sitting where they are right now.
Well, Darian Durant, we've taken up a lot of your time already. We appreciate it, as always, every Monday.
My fault.
No, it's fine. We can sit here and talk football for a
Dave,
full hour.
You don't have to worry about that, buddy.
Hey, I was really quite concerned about the whole Eugene Lewis thing, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that keeps him up at night.
I mean, some receivers are quote unquote divas, and I don't like to call him that, but you need to get him the ball, and that's it. And I think if Jake can do that, that'll take a lot of pressure off of that tension or whatever that may be there.
We will have much to discuss next Monday. Darian Durant, thank you so much for doing this, as always.
All right, take care.
Darian, of course, joins us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline for Double Talk with Darian Durant every single week. Thanks to Dutch Agriculture for consistent depth, better yield, and precision where it counts. Precision. My words are not precise. Where it counts, visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture on farm for you. Hang tight. Your Regina Red Sox report just around the corner. We are going to dial up Gord Pritchard to join us next. And, of course, your sports tickers still to come as well. This is the SportsCage, and it's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
It is time for the Sports Ticker. There we go. Okay, Western Canadian Baseball League action. Weyburn Beavers are in Fort McMurray to face the Giants just after 7, and the Medicine Hat Mavericks are in Regina for a showdown against the Red Sox. Assuming that rain will hold off. Yes, it will. Positive thinking. Major League Baseball action. You got the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the New York Mets. That game just beginning here as Bo Bichette has returned to Toronto and received multiple standing ovations from Blue Jays fans in Toronto, by the way. Savage on the mound for the Jays tonight. In terms of the NHL, we are coming off the draft this weekend, and now we brace for free agent frenzy. We'll keep you posted on that on the SportsCage throughout the week. World Cup of Soccer, Canada is headed to the FIFA World Cup round of 16 for the first time following a 1-0 win over South Africa yesterday. Canada will face either Netherlands or Morocco in the next round. Those two teams play each other at 7 o'clock tonight. Brazil scored a 95th minute winner to knock out Japan of the World Cup with a 2-1 final. And I don't think we have a final result here on that Germany-Paraguay game.
Paraguay won in penalty kicks.
That's a boring way to finish.
It was actually pretty good. Both teams had opportunities to win. Paraguay had a couple of opportunities to win, but they couldn't.
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of cards being brought out, and there was extra time, of course. So
yeah, they were playing a game of crib, right? Sorry, done.
Just another half hour of bad jokes here, guys. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good. Which winless? Oh, we should have asked Darian this. Which winless CFL team is most likely to win first? Is that Ottawa or BC? Let us know what you think. Vote at sportscage.com. That is your sports ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Okay, Curtis, I think it's time. We're good to go. We're going to head out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline for your Red Sox report.
Showcasing the boys of summer. Time for another edition of the SportsCage Regina Red Sox Report on 620 CKRM. Brought to you by Unifor 594. Energy workers, putting the care in career since 1942. Safety is our business.
Joining us on the line now, Queen City Sports and Entertainment Group Chief Executive Officer Gord Pritchard. Appreciate you taking the time, especially on a game day, Gord.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tegan. I appreciate it.
So let's dive into what this season has been like for you. I imagine a little bit different now. And of course, the team is now under management of Queen City Sports and Entertainment, so you're taking on a larger role. But the game day experience is quite a bit different too.
Yeah, I think we've done a good job of trying to improve the overall fan experience, the game day experience at Curry Field. Gary Brotzel, Sharon Clark, Al Simpson, the entire volunteer board, and all the volunteers that have worked out here tirelessly for 20 years. They've just built such a great foundation, and we've been able to build upon what they established. And to have Gary and Sharon on board with us this year has made things a lot easier. A lot of familiar faces around the park for them and for us now. We've tried to build on what they established. And I think putting in things like the outfield digital scoreboard and sign, refreshing the outfield wall, and then just trying to have a little bit more engagement with the fans throughout the game when we can has been a big hit. And of course, on the food and beverage side with our Western Pizza Snack Shack, the popular Beer Shack, and then we've added in the Cocktail Caravan, which has been a big hit, and also the El Tropezon food truck, which has been very well received as well. We've received a number of compliments that they like what we've done. Fans have liked what we've done so far, and some variety on the at the park. And those are things we're going to continue to work on refining and improving as we move through the summer.
Queen City Sports and Entertainment, it's in the name. You provide sports entertainment, do a terrific job with the Regina Pats. What have you learned about doing it at a baseball stadium?
Well, I've learned that the weather is a real factor, particularly this last week here. It's a different game. There's elements of the game night experience that we put on at the Brand Center that we can carry over to baseball. More so maybe around the introductions and the opening of the game, but beyond that, it's a different game. So we've tried to incorporate some new elements using the outfield sign, which wasn't here before. So I think that helps put on a little bit of a different show. We're able to do replays, which is great. And then, of course, our fan activations and sponsor engagement. So I think overall, we try and use the basic principles of we're here. Yeah, the entertainment on the field is baseball, but we're here to entertain you for the entire 2.5 or 3 hours that you're here, similar to what we do at the Brown Center with the Pats. There's an hour of hockey, but we're entertaining you for 3 hours. So that's the basic approach we're trying to take.
You mentioned weather certainly being a factor there, Gord. We live in Saskatchewan. It will always be a factor, but it's such a short season. And I don't think we really have too much of a peek behind the curtain at this point to understanding what the process looks like, if a game does need to be postponed. That happens on a league level, is my understanding, right? Balancing that safety of the players and fan expectations.
For sure, yeah. First and foremost, it's we got to make sure that the field is safe for the players. We want to make sure that that we're not putting any player in danger or creating a potential injury for them, whether it's the Red Sox or a visiting team. So that's first and foremost. And then, secondly, we're looking out for the fans and the league. And as we've seen this past week to 10 days, when we do have to postpone a game due to weather, it's resulting most of the time here in doubleheaders. So that creates new challenges, different challenges from both the baseball side and a business side, I guess you could say, because doubleheaders they're a bigger commitment, and you're shifting things around on the schedule. Maybe people could commit to the day that they were that they originally had scheduled on the calendar, but the rescheduled game maybe is more of a challenge. So working through those scenarios, and then from a baseball standpoint, it's more taxing to play 2 games in one day, and we don't play 2 9-inning games. When we have doubleheaders, we play 2 7-inning games, but everything else is the same beyond that.
What about the volunteers? Obviously, it takes a lot of people to run the ball game. I'm guessing that in true Saskatchewan form, we just roll with the punches.
That's true, and we have an incredible volunteer group. Sharon Clark did an amazing job with our volunteer program this year, and getting basically everybody back she had the last couple of years and then growing it. I think our total volunteer pool is close to 50 people total. So they've done an awesome job. Sharon's done an awesome job with the volunteers and getting them out and helping us with our various positions, whether it's in the parking lot, ushers, taking tickets, selling tickets, scanning tickets, in the beer shack, selling 50/50s. It's a huge undertaking, and we're very lucky to have the volunteers we do who are so passionate about the Red Sox.
Many hands make light work, as they say, Gord.
That's true. Very true.
So Medicine Hat Mavericks tonight, and then a doubleheader coming up, I believe, on Wednesday and Sunday. So you might as well just throw out the cologne and just, swap it out for bug spray at this point.
You've got it. We've got a busy week ahead of us. We have Medicine Hat tonight. And then we've got the doubleheader tomorrow for Canada Day, which should be a great day. On Wednesday, excuse me. On Wednesday is the doubleheader, and then again on Sunday is another doubleheader. So it's a busy week for us.
And maybe just as a point of clarification, when it comes to tickets for doubleheaders, if I get tickets for the first game, I get to hang around for the second game, or how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So if you have a ticket for the first game, you're good for the first game, obviously. And then after the first game, we're going to take about 20 to 30 minutes, and we're going to clear the park. And then we're going to scan everybody back in who has tickets for the second game. So if you wanted to attend the second game, you'd have to purchase a ticket for the second game.
And then if you were, unfortunately, at the game last night that didn't happen, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, that ticket is still valid for the makeup game?
That's correct, 100%. All you have to do is show up with that ticket to the makeup game, whatever date it's on, and you'll be scanned in as if it was the originally scheduled date.
Makes sense. All right. Oh, now I'm in, and of course we can go through the regular ticketing purchasing methods to purchase the ticket for the game that we want, whether it's game 1, game 2, or anything beyond.
Exactly. Yeah, our website has been updated as these games have been rescheduled, which has been busy this week doing that. But tickets are available for purchase through the ReginaRedSox.com ticketing tab. Also available for purchase right at Curry Field at our ticket shack on the north side. And then if you're looking for a premium experience or a group experience, all that information is on the website as well. And we have a great ticketing team that is happy to help you out and find a package that works for you.
Well, here's hoping that you stay nice and dry tonight. We don't need to reschedule yet another game, but that just comes with the nature of baseball.
Thank you. Appreciate the support and the positive attitude that we're willing it. We're going to play tonight.
Yes, I love it. Sending all the positivity. Thank you so much for doing this, Gord. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you both. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, anytime. That is Queen City Sports and Entertainment Group Chief Executive Officer Gord Pritchard, who you likely recognize as well from the Regina Pats. So he was joining us for the Regina Red Sox Report for Unifor Local 594. You know what? We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a little bit here so that we can wrap up the show for you today. This is the Sports Cage. It's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com. Oh, thanks for joining us on another installment of the Sports Cage. This Monday edition is brought to you by Sask Today. Yeah, check it out, sasktoday.ca. Provincial leader in news, egg, and sports coverage. We got you. Okay, We are just about out of time for the afternoon, but I do just maybe want to mention a couple of quick things here before we do completely run out of time. Rough Rider Foundation 50/50, plenty of exclusive giveaways and experiences up for grabs, and the early bird draw is taking place for, let me see here, Labor Day game package for 2, 1 night in hotel, 2 custom rider jerseys, 2 gold tickets to the Labor Day Classic on Sunday, September 6th, and there will be 3 of these packages awarded. It's hard to believe that we're already talking about Labor Day.
It isn't that far away, but stop it. The summer is just starting.
I know. We still got all this soccer on TV. And that just screams summer to me. Baseball, soccer.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to literally scream.
Don't.
Summer.
No.
Okay. Thursday,
July the 2nd. That's this Thursday at 10 o'clock. You got to grab your 50/50 tickets before then if you want to be eligible for this early bird Labor Day game package for 2. Okay, riders5050.ca. That is where you need to go. Also, we do have your final chance right here, right now. Pick the score. Brought to you by SaskTel. So you have a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card, and all we need you to do, plus you get tickets to the next Rider home game. So you just need to send in your predictions along with your name, and you text those in. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. We got this one here. Oh, I don't see a name on it, though. Please include your name. We have one prediction here, 3427. Okay, interesting.
For who?
Riders.
Okay, fair.
In Ottawa. Again, the weather makes me nervous because Ottawa has had 2 monsoons this year.
Oh, they're
already.
always good for a monsoon. I've been watching the forecast as well, and I'm just kind of waiting.
Yeah, because
right now there's a heat wave that's going through Ontario, 40 plus degrees anticipated later on in the week. So
lovely. Yeah. Bring your dress shorts.
My dress shorts. I'm not Paul Lapalisse.
Okay, Riders 3427 was another pick here. That bolo tie was something else. Another guess that we're getting from James in Lumsden, 39-32 for the Riders. Everyone's taking the over on this one. I'm a little bit surprised in that, but hey, it might be a really low-scoring game too if it ends up being really, really, really unfortunate weather. But we'll see.
The latest forecast has just shifted.
And?
Now calling for 31 degrees and the risk of a thunder shower.
That's only a risk.
Probability of precipitation is at 40%.
It's only Monday. Lots is going to change by the time we hit Friday.
I'm very certain of that.
Yes, and we will have all of your game day coverage right here, 620 CKRM, and our YouTube channel, as well as sportscage.com. Pre-game show coverage kicks off at 2:30 on 620 CKRM in the stream. And then, of course, we will have that Rider Nation pre-game show right at 4 o'clock as Dave Thomas and Luke Melander join us. And then, as always, we have your 5th quarter post-game show following the game, barring any delays. And it should be on track to have us wrapped up there. Oh, geez, what time? If we're at 2:30, we'll be done just shortly after midnight. Local time. So make sure that you call us.
I don't change my clocks.
Well, that's... Yeah, Saskatchewan doesn't. It's great. But yes, you can absolutely. Oh, and welcome back, Jeffrey. I just saw someone welcome back Jeffrey in our Prairie Land Rentals text line chat on our YouTube channel. Jeffrey, I guess, was gone for a little while, and he's back to his usual trolling. I love it. Thank you so much for coming back. That's great. He must be out of his timeout.
Wow, what did I miss? I was gone for a week.
You were gone for a week. Anyway, Dave and I will be back this Friday, and that's when we're going to have all of your coverage. I will be in for Barney tomorrow as well, as he takes some vacation this week. So we will talk to you then. On behalf of myself, Dave Thomas, Curtis Gammon, thank you for coming along for the ride. And we're broadcasting live right from the corner of 12th and Rose. Have a good night. It's 620 CKRM and SportsCage.com.